Yes, hello. I am James Ronan. Today it's WNR 597. It's New Japan catch up. It's Dash to Cup. I'm not alone. I have a pleasure to say that I'm joined by the entire WNR team. Up first by my side for nearly 6 years now, for ups and the downs. Would you please welcome back the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett? How's it going, Jaxie?
Hello, hello. Yes, excited to be back, especially for this one. This is a big pod, so we had to come back in style, and what better way than to, come back to everything New Japan Cup, New Year Dash. I'm excited to get into this.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And like I said, we're on good terms right now, but it's not going to end that way. But I just,
Honestly, it's gonna last a couple of minutes. Watch, guys, watch this space.
Up next, our resident NXT expert and New Japan demigod, ex House of Torture member, and of course, AEW Stanhausen. It is Monty. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm still toxic, by the way, but it's all good. Uh, I must also mention that my ex membership of House of Torture is on the rocks right now. I'm in conversation with Ren the Reader. We working things out. We can talk about that as we go on. But yeah, we'll talk about that as we go. But yeah, excited. Of course, I always talk about my pride and joy still. Although we've grown frustrated with each other. NXT is our baby, James, but I might be truly married to New Japan because they really do like to piss me off as like a spouse would, but also I love them so dearly. So, yeah, can't wait to talk about
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I don't know if anybody knows Aaron Neville, all right? But it's kind of one of the few impressions that I don't know if my voice is going to behold, but I'm going to try it right now. Look at this face. I know the years are showing. Look at this life. I still don't know where it's going. I don't know much. I know I love you. Let me be all I want to know. I've put repeat if good. It wasn't good. So it is Gina. How's it going, Gina?
It was amazing as always. As always,
Yes.
James. I appreciate it and I love it.
My voice
But
just
yes,
doesn't. Yeah.
yes. I look forward to getting into some New Japan and excited to have my sister back on the pod with us. We're a full team again, and me and Monty can go back to being Switzerland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, let's not make a big deal of it. We've got a shitload to get through. We did Wrestle Kingdom. We now need to catch up. But first, Jaxie, I wanted to get your thoughts on Tanahashi's retirement, obviously losing to Okada. And we cried buckets talking about it here. What were your thoughts?
Um, yeah, I mean this definitely was emotion fueled. Even I kind of got a little bit worked up, and I felt quite privileged to be watching, Okada sort of be the one to take on Tanahashi in his final match. So I really enjoyed the bout between the two of them. But I think I got more emotional at just seeing my man back in a New Japan ring. It was just really lovely just to kind of see him back in his roots.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We were talking. Oh, poor Tanahashi, you're just probably like, yeah, fuck him. Leave Okada one.
I mean, I can't deny that. Like Tanahashi was there.
Oh my word! Well, we're getting with New Year's Dash, which was January 5th, and for sure we didn't know who would wrestle, and we did know two matches that take place, and then the rest of the lineup was revealed, so it was a mystery show, no more. Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton were on commentary talking about a packed house. I mean, it's hard to gauge the size of the venue, but it was definitely packed. We got Tai Chi, Ishii, and Kojima defeating Uemura, Umino, and Murashima. Murashima was really impressive, the young lion here. Takeshita and Rocky Romero defeated El Fantasmo and Shoma Kato. And it seems AOP and Takeshita are made for each other. Bolton Oleg, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto defeated Sanada, Yuri Takahashi, and Yoshinori Karamura. Sanada had a guitar that said goodbye, New Japan. And now Gina, I'll get your thoughts on Sonada because he's a weird cat, from what we see. I think he might have been world champion, around the time as we've been watching it. And he is leaving New Japan. Is this a big miss?
Um, I'm kind of, do you know what? With Sanada, I kind of don't really know how I feel about him. The main thing I take from him is his ridiculous outfits, and what he brings to the table with that. But in terms of him leaving or staying, I don't know how I personally feel about it. I don't know if I'm going to be like, oh, I'll miss him. I think I kind of won't miss him, but that's not to say that I didn't like him. I just think, yeah, he didn't really make that much of an impact with me, so I don't think it impacts me in that if he leaves. But it was still a shock to hear. I thought he'd be there for a very long time.
Yeah, without a doubt. Um, Jacob Austin Young, Akira, and El Idolo defeated Gabe Kid, Clark Connors, and Takahashi. Andrade pinned Clark. Kid and Andrade continues to fight after the bell. Need to be separated by security. Kid then challenged him to a match on February 11th. Yo Master Aaron Wolf and Toriano defeated Evil, Don Farley, Ren Narita, and Dick Togo. Narita picked up his push-up bar and clocked Wolf with it, and looks like Wolf has his next opponent. Hinari, Callum, Newman, Greater Khan, and Jake Lee defeated Yoshi Suji, Shingo, Drilla Maloney, and David Finlay. And Suji brought back the old IWGP Championship. Now, Monty, why is this so important? Because a lot of people going on about it, but it's back. I mean, what's it mean?
I'm not sure if I can hear Monty.
I don't think I can either, and I'm really worried about
Hear me
it.
now.
Monty,
Can you hear me now?
oh
We
yeah, there we
can
go.
hear you, Monty.
Oh my
You're
word!
talking
I
on
thought
mute.
I
I
was
don't
going
know.
crazy.
No, I was speaking, but I have no clue why the microphone didn't work all of a sudden. But anyway, like I was saying,
Hey, it's back.
a lot of the fans hate that belt. Yeah, yeah, I returned. A lot of the fans hate the newer version of the world title. I didn't really necessarily have a problem with it, but I do think the version 4 version aesthetically is more pleasing, and it's just iconic. I mean, it's kind of poetic that the belt returns after Tanahashi retires, which is Tanahashi is kind of very much associated because a lot of his most iconic runs are also with that version of the world title. It's also, of course, widely known that guys like Okada made that belt even more famous during his reign. So, just like I said, a lot of fans hated the newer version. It was important to Suji to bring this one back. I think it kind of symbolizes New Japan trying to recapture a feeling of the past. It started in Kota Ibushi's run when he kind of merged the Intercontinental title and World title. And pretty much, like I said, that version of the merged super kind of world title belt they had just wasn't really popular with the fans. So seeing the version for world title that Tanahashi, Nakamura, Styles, Kenny, Omega, Naito, Okada, like I mentioned earlier, and Jay White, seeing the belt that those guys held, along with even Keiji Muto, way back at the beginning, it gives people that vibe of New Japan from '09 to 2019, which is, probably its modern peak. So I think again, it's a great, they say fan service in anime and stuff like that. It's a great fan service move for New Japan to bring it belt back because it's not only liked by the fans, but it's very aesthetically pleasing. So it's just one of those things that I think that make people who are especially longtime fans of New Japan and make them feel like New Japan is back on the right track.
Yeah, without a doubt. Khan hit a post-match tombstone on Shingo, and Jake Lee picked up the title belt and played with it, but eventually gave it back to Suji. Callum got on the mic and said, "This is a brand new United Empire." And out the back came Will Ospreay. The crowd went nuts for his music. He was in street clothes, so he's not wrestling yet. He got in the ring and hugged Hanari. Then he shook Khan's hand and bowed to him. I didn't realise me leaving was going to crumble everything, Ospreay said. He said he's still recovering, but getting better and better. And you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. He's got some business in AEW, but he will be back in New Japan. Callum did look annoyed. We'll refer to Newman as his little brother. And Callum and Ospreay hugged. Callum took a step back behind Ospreay, picked up a chair to swing at him, but the other United Empire members stopped him. Callum stormed to the back, leaving the other 4 guys in the ring. Jaxie, this was really intriguing because we saw how the destruction of the United Empire and, Newman, but now it looks like Ospreay's back in the fold as well.
I mean, yeah, that I think that, during that current time, there was a lot of, sort of back and forth as to whether or not, United Empire were like fully face, fully heel. You could see these changes sort of taking place like right there, especially with sort of Osprey sort of flittering in and out, and this overall sort of like persona that Callum Newman has started to rock, where like he is coming into his own and he does believe in his own leadership, and having someone like his mentor maybe potentially coming back, he's looking at it more like, are you checking up on me rather than letting me do my thing? So there was a lot sort of like going into sort of like the New Japan Cup on whether or not this was sort of Callum's sort of determination to show and prove what he can do.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, it's going to be really interesting to see that journey, especially like I said on this podcast, even now, where he's the kind of older brother returning and it's Newman in his shadow or not. And the other thing is,
Exactly, yeah.
will Ospreay not learn from Carl Fletcher? This will not end well, will it? You know
Well,
what I mean?
listen, he's got a kind heart, okay, James. He wants to believe in the best of his young'uns. It's not his fault that sadly they all kind of resent him in the end.
Oh
Um,
my word!
I don't know what it is. He just seems to be going that way at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see. There's
He
hope.
might not. Who knows?
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's that ego. It's that ego,
yeah.
man. Will came back talking about, I'm sorry that I left crumbled, and Callum was like, bro, like, I've been carrying this crumbled faction while you was gone. And you
You
come
left
back
it
talking about how
broken.
much your absence killed us.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, he kind of is. It's kind of
you
an
can see
a-hole
that.
way to say I miss you, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
We got each around Sweet Boys of Vegeta and Robbie Eagles defeating Show and Doki, El Desperado and Kukai and Robbie X and Taji Ishimori in a four-way to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Robbie and Vegeta caught Robbie X and hit a team Death Valley driver for new champions. Francisco Akira returned to the ring and beat up Ishimori. Hiromu Takahashi ran into the ring to make the save. But Gina, what I found interesting about this, and again, this is one of the things I like about New Japan, it was, I think, a year and a day to the point where each of Band Street Boys won the junior heavyweight titles back at Wrestle Kingdom, if you know what I mean. So the previous state, the previous year, they won the titles and they won them again the year later. I quite like that.
It is nice storytelling in a way, isn't it? I
I
mean,
don't
but again, I wasn't mad at it for me because I don't watch New Japan all the time, and I mainly tune into the bigger tournament sorts of things. Seeing these change ups happen frequently is good for me because then I get to see the start of something.
yeah, right now. And the main event, the Knockout Brothers, Oscar and Yuta Ice, defeat Zack Sabre Jr. and Ryo Oiwa to retain the IWGP Tag Team titles. Umino and Uemura came to the ring and demanded another title shot. Suddenly, Tai Chi and Ishii came to the ring, and it's clear they also want a title shot as well. Yuta Ice got the mic and told these two teams to fight each other and find out who deserves a shot. The two teams agreed. Yoke spoke of the mic to close out the show, putting over not only his team, but how great New Japan is and the place to be. Now, Monty, there's a few things here that I, again, really liked. I like the story of Oiwa stepping up. And another thing was interesting. This was the first main event in the post-Tanahashi era, which, again, I think says a lot for you, Ice and Oscar, Knockout Brothers to be put in that position.
Yeah, and Utah is just like somebody who's really capitalizing. Like every time we talk about him, I just got to point out that he again, kind of like Suji when Utah Nakanishi was his full name when he was a young lion. I did not see all this personality or just like this charisma. So like I don't know what happens to certain guys when they go on excursion, and then you bring them back. But Utah when he came back, like he just him and Oscar. Not only do they work well as a team, and he's just so good, but like they are some legit hoopers. Like I think this is one of the times where sometimes we go around, even in AEW, when you look and you see who the tag team champs are, or whatever, and you be like, okay, I understand why they're tag champs, but are they really the best team in the company? And I think the Knockout Brothers at this point have proven that despite only just now winning the belts back, they are like legitimately like the best team and just look like the best team in this match. And like you said, Orwell again, I think his overall arc that we will see going on through the tournament and all that, Orwell was all. It's just like I think that's pretty much where he is, just showing pure resilience and showing a lot of development every time you see him. And he fought hard, and we know what Zach brings to the table. But again, like I said, the Knockout Brothers and their chemistry, I love their finisher, I love everything about it. And like you said, it is a great message to have them in the main event, have Yuto himself wrap up the show with the comments and just everything about him, his personality, and everybody getting high off pro wrestling. Again, Japan got very strict drug laws, so as long as you're still just getting high off pro wrestling, I support it. But again, every time I see him, I say his catchphrase with him, like "Let's get high." Like I promise you, Utah Ice is winning me over, and he won me over really quick. But I love them as a team because, like you said, Oscar also is not your average like big man wrestler, which again we'll see as we continue to go. But yeah, man, it was a great little nod to show that they're really confident not only in uh the KOB, but they're also just confident in their tag division by making this match, like you said, one of those matches to end the New Year's Dash. So yeah, it was definitely something to make you look forward to what else they're gonna do in the tag division going forward.
Well, and as we know, the tag division is on fire, as we just about to find out. But the backstage comments, Suji said, until now, the War Dogs and the unaffiliated wrestlers have maintained a cooperative relationship. These are just subtitles. I'm sure he didn't say it like that. But that ends today. Our alliance is finished. From here on out, we will fight as a single unit. Our name is Unbound Co., a group that cannot be bound by anyone. And with that, 13 years, the Bullet Club is no more. Now, Jaxie, again, this felt big, because we all have heard of the Bullet Club. We know the kind of members that have been in there, talked about it so much. But New Japan have gone, no, we are starting afresh with Unbound Code, with Suji being the leader.
This was a very interesting move because, again, as you said, like in sort of this new era, it's almost like when they announced it, it was a bit of a scary feeling to say there's no sort of like original Bullet Club members left to keep this going. So we should have saw this coming, but it felt a little bit surreal. But I'm not mad at this. Suji has been really leading a lot of the company within New Japan at this moment in time. And why not, incite this change where they can maybe try to create something new, create something just as good as Bullet Club, but, without that sort of expectation of what their predecessors had done within the Bullet Club. So I was actually intrigued to see this new faction come together, and just to see kind of the alliances. I didn't really see an alliance with Shingo Takagi and Suji sort of working, but the more and more I saw them work together throughout this New Japan Cup, it just like Unbound Company right now is starting to work for me. I'm liking what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the thing as well, at the time, we're going, oh, what's Finley going to do? What's Gabe in this? And kind of it made sense. They made the first move in a way. I know they
Yeah.
wait 13 years to kill it, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's a long time coming, and as I said, it's one that we should have expected, but it still came as a shock when it did happen. So I'm intrigued to see where things go from here, and whether or not they can kind of, make their mark on New Japan as a new group.
yeah, that down. On January 18th, New Japan held Blue Justice, main event by Aaron Wolf, Oleg Bolton, Toriano, and Yuji Nagata, defeating House of Torture. I mean, it passes the time. Road to January 19th, Jake Lee made Suji pass out to the guillotine after their tag match. The top two matches were the Never Openweight six-man tag team championship match. Bishamon and Oleg Bolton defeated Hartley Jackson, Rhea Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr., your new champs. And a surprise, I mean, TMDK lost so soon. I mean, Gene, it wasn't a surprise Bishamon and Bolton won because they looked such a fucking great team, But it's a shame Hartley Jackson couldn't get the belt extender, could fit round his waist in time.
Definitely. If it does feel that way, but like you just said, Bishamon with Bolton is just they seem like a real unstoppable trio. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and then the main event was the IWGP Tag Team Championship number one contendership match. Shota Umino and Yuri Uemura defeating Taichi and Tomohiro Ishii. I mean, both matches delivered, but Monty, that main event was awesome. We talk about how much it seems that WWE hate tag team wrestling, but it was great to see just a banger of a tag match.
Yeah, I mean, my guy Tai Chi and of course Ishii, who just he's probably they claim he's 50 years old, but he still wrestles like he was in his mid 30s, early 30s, if that, probably better than he wrestled back then. So these guys don't age, but they push the younger guys to a really good main event. I mean, I'm gonna talk a lot. I mean, especially when we get into the cup. But like I might be one of these lads because I know he gets booed and maybe they think he deserves it. But I'm a diehard Shota Umino. Like I really love Shota's work. Whether I care about what they do with him as a character or how they push him, like I really do like how he wrestles, and especially now he just seems to be more mature and more physical. And I think he was really being pushed in this match. It was cool to see him overcome like all the pressure that Ishii was giving him, and it was just very much a banger, man. And I thought the promo too from both Uemura and Emino at the end, it's like they acknowledge that a special show to acknowledges the crowd's distaste for him or whatever, but it just seemed like he's ready to overcome that and have a strong year. And again, Uemura also. I'm a fan of Schultz's work, but like you and more, it seemed to be just again, he's both of these guys. It's funny that I'm talking about them as a tag team, but as we go into the cup, you'll see even more of how much I love both of them as far as the talent goes. And I'm not really surprised when you think about who's involved in this because Tai Chi has been on a great match run for a long time, and Ishii is who he is. So again, this was just again, it was very interesting because I think the future for them is going to be interesting, whether it's in tag team or not. But to show that they also showed that the vets are still putting on some of their best work, which is crazy for people who are in their mid 40s. And like I said, Ishii's supposed to be in his 50s. So again, like their work rate at this stage of their career is incredible, and this match was a good example of it.
Yeah, and there was, like I said, there was a great promo from Uemura and Umino afterwards talking about getting booed and being passed by. Shota saying he's not cool. He's not here because of his dad, and the lame version of him ends now. He walks about, let's enjoy pro wrestling. I mean, Jax, how many times is Umino going to be like, no, I'm going to start afresh now? Do you know what I mean? How many times has he changed since we've been watching him? This
I
starts
mean,
now.
he's got this a great way of constantly drawing the crowd to him and wanting to see him sort of, achieve and overcome. But half of the time, I'm like, how do you keep everyone's spirits up? How do you keep your own spirits up? Um, Throughout some of this, again, I think, like Monty said, we'll talk more about sort of like Shota's journey, especially throughout the New Japan Cup. But yeah, there's always a part of me that's like, how does he keep this positive attitude? you know there's definitely a perseverance that I haven't known, that I could probably learn from Shota.
Over on January 20th, Unbound Co. lost again in tag action as Suji was left all alone. Ren Narita sent Aaron Wolf a message that he's next. In the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship, Ishbound Sweet Boys defeated House of Torture, which was Yoshi Kaminara and Show. And in the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, it was Doki defeating El Desperado. Gina, this was a match we should have had at Wrestle Kingdom. There was lots of House of Torture nonsense and Doki getting a low blow in the end. It was a shame because I was expecting these two to go out, especially, again, as we mentioned last year at Wrestle Kingdom with the injury. We didn't get the match this year. We finally got it, and it was just House of Torture again.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember that breakage from last year, to be honest, and feeling super gutted for Doki at that point. So to come here sort of a year after, it does feel a little disappointment in some way because it is just standard House of Torture antics. And how many times are we going to use that excuse for House of Torture to just keep doing the same thing that they usually do to get the wins or something, you know? So yeah, I get what you mean. It was a little, for me, it did feel a little lackluster in terms of they could have made it a really big deal being a year on from that, but
Yeah.
instead it was just standard House of Torture shit.
Well, I hope, like I said, that maybe one day he can come back to the good side and we can have that banger that we always want, But who knows? January 26th, New Japan released a statement. Thank you for supporting New Japan Pro Wrestling. After careful consideration and discussion with New Japan management, Evil, who's been a long-standing member of the New Japan roster, will leave New Japan at the expiry of his contract at the end of January 2026. We apologise to the fans for the sudden nature of this announcement. New Japan wishes Evil the very best in his future activities. Oh no, Monty, Evil's gone. What are we going to do?
I don't know. I'm still down about it. I really am. I really am. I really am dejected. To be honest. Nah, to be honest, it's funny though. Like I saw a different degree of opinions, and like I really loved it. I love how much some people were cheering for him to go because I was like, God damn it, Evil, you really are the greatest heel in wrestling. Like people were, I've never seen, no matter like you know how modern day wrestling is. No matter who you, if MJF said he was leaving the AEW tomorrow, these motherfuckers would be crying and screaming. I'm like, that's what I mean. Like MJF's supposed to be the baddest heel in the AEW or whoever. List whoever you want is supposed to be the big bad of their current run right now. Most of these people would be crying and very very sad if they leave. And the fact that Evil was so bad to like a plethora, to be fair, it's mostly Western. A lot of the Eastern fans were very, very depressed because, again, like I said, they boo Evil, but they love Evil for some. It just is what it is. He's their Evil. He's their bad guy. So, uh, anyway, so it's very cool to see the differing opinion. But I immediately just grew to the concern of the New Japan Dojo because much like uh Shibata was the leader of the LA dojo and helped train the Gabe kids and the Clark Connors and all of that. And a lot of the guys who kind of came American guys who grew up in the dojo. Evil was one of the helpers along with Yuji Nagata to help train a lot of these new talent that you see. A lot the Yudo Isis, the Shota Umanos, hell, even talents before that. He helped Hiromu along the way, even though they kind of came up together. And like he always was very, very important to the dojo. A lot of these guys, Ren Narita, the reason why Ren Narita is in House of Torture is because of his relationship and the fact that Evil basically helped train him from square one. So it again, I understand the character and I understand people not liking uh how formulaic I guess Evil stuff was or how more formulaic he became. But a lot of the guys, especially long-standing New Japan fans and people who knew and remember what Evil was before he even got this new role of House of Torture leader and kind of became that version of himself. Like it's a great wrestler. Even Meltzer and some of the critics will let people know there's a great wrestler. Like it was people who was mad at Tony Khan because he don't like Evil so much that it's rumored that Evil may be and going to WWE or whatever. Whether he goes there or not, I don't really care. But my point about that is that a lot of people were saying like, yeah, Tony Khan, he may not like his work, but that's a good wrestler that you can just make not wrestle like a House of Torture wrestler if you wanted to. But again, I'm happy he's not going there because I don't really think he needs to. I'm interested to see what he does in the future. But again, he was very important to the dojo. Besides how important he was as a character and as how much merch he sold for them. And again, it's just another big name. Like say what you want about Sonata and Evil, especially they're one of the greatest IWGP Tag Team Champions duos of the last 5 to 10 years, and they're both gone now. And and add that on with Naito, my whole entire original Lij is literally disappeared. So the
Oh
greatest
dear.
faction in New Japan, the only faction that was actually a faction, not just a group of guys fighting together for a long time. They all gone. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's very, very crazy. So I never really thought he would do it, but I'm not gonna act like I'm surprised. Like after I mean, come on, Tanahashi's gone now. A lot of my greats, a lot of people I really like have left. So I'm not surprised at this point. But yeah, I was definitely shocked.
Yeah. And what I quite like about it is that he's still mysterious, even when he's, not doing
He
anything. You
just
just don't know where
disappeared.
Evil is. Yeah, exactly. So
He
where's he going to
disappeared.
go? He's going to
Didn't
have to go
explain
out.
nothing, no
Oh,
promo, nothing,
it just
just left.
disappeared. We don't know where he's gone. Anyway, February 1st, we got Road to Unbound Co. Gedo, Oscar, and Ute Eyes defeat Shooter Umino, Tiger Mask, and Yuri Uemura. TMDK, Hartley Jackson, Fujita, Oyoa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Bishamon, Botan Oleg, and Taguchi. Fujita stuck his finger in Taguchi's ass and dug a hole. It's stuff like this we don't get in America, god damn it, you know. United Empire, Greater Khan and Army and Zane defeated Unbound Co., which was Nagai, Driller, and Robbie X. Aaron Wolf, Masawato Toriano, and Yo defeated House of Torture after a pipe shot. Unbound Co., which was David Finlay, Hiromu Takahashi, defeated Callum Newman and Jacob Austin Young. And then Akira and Jake Lee defeated Unbound Co., which was Ishimori and Suji. We also had the Young Lion Cup 2026. The first round match was Masato Yasuda defeating Tatsuro Matsumoto. ducking the guy, defeated Zayn Jay via disqualification in the first round action. Jay listened to Callum Newman and beat the shit out of the guy. In the semi-final, we had Showa Kato defeating Masaru Yasuda, and Katsuya Mishima defeating the guy. And in the final was Mishima defeating Kato with the jumping Boston Crab. Post-match, the president Tanahashi presents a trophy, and they pose. Tana also gives encouraging words to Kato on the floor, and he got his T-shirt. Monty, all in all, Hiroshima, we talk about how good he had it. I mean, I love the character that he's got, and now he's going to go on excursion, I guess. They're going to get the top spot because he won the cup. No, he's not going to go England or anything like that.
Yeah, that's kind of his reward for winning the online cup. I also want, most of the time if you win it, unless you're very young, but even if you're young and you win it, that means you're probably going to excursion sooner than later. But yeah, the Young Lion Cup is one of the things. This is where I want to tell you, James. I have fully indoctrinated you to a pure New Japan fan because even the so-called best fans of New Japan claim to never watch the Young Lion. They never really care to watch the Young Lion Cup, but you are invested into New Japan's future now because you covered that. So I just want to let you know I respect it. Well, yeah, no, I like Hiroshima. I think he was actually by far one of the most interesting young lions that they got right now. So we'll see what he turns into. Like I said, it is always a crapshoot. You got to think about it this way. Somewhere Jake Lee was a damn young lion. Same thing with like you mentioned earlier, Taguchi Japan, of course. He was a young lion. These were all like people that you and then you get, of course, people like Okada, who's also a young lion. So again, you can get a wide spectrum from the young lion system. So hopefully he ends up. He seemed like he got the potential to be one of the greats. But I'm just saying, it's always a crapshoot of what they gonna end up being when they come back. So can't wait to see.
Well, no, it'd be interesting. Like I said, yeah, I have invested. February 2nd, Shota Umino, Yuri Imura, and Yasuda defeated Unbound Ko, Yuta Oscar, and the guy. And Wolf Toriano Mustawatu defeated House of Anyo defeated House of Torture, I should say. Master Watto is building momentum. Callum Newman, Akira, and Jacob Oster Young defeated Unbound Ko with Finley, Takahashi, and Gedo. Yotsuji, Driller Maloney, Ishimori, and Robbie X defeated the United Empires. Jake Lee, Hinari, Great Khan, and Zayn Jay. We also had Bolton Oleg defeating Hartley Jackson. Now, Jax, what I quite like about the Road 2s, because obviously we talk about they don't have weekly shows, but we know we're going to have TMDK versus Bishamon and Bolton Oleg again at a major show. So before that, we're going to have 3 singles matches. And to see Bolton Oleg and Hartley Jackson was like Meaty Men, or more like King Kong versus Godzilla, you know?
That's a great way to describe them. Like, King Kong and Godzilla, because that's how I would describe both of them. I like that they're getting a lot more aggressive and hands-on. Like, I think that there was a slow build or a slow start towards both of them, especially Hartley Jackson, but I can see him really sort of coming into his own slowly but surely. So it's definitely been fun just to kind of see these men clash, especially throughout the cup, as we'll get into as well. But this has been fun to kind of see this all brewing up between all of the teams. I think, as we'll probably discuss further, I am the biggest fan of Bishamon, and just seeing their like budding sort of like connection with even Bolton Oleg has just been great to watch. Like, I love Bishamon so much, so I just totally fangirl over them as a tag team. They're definitely in my top 5 of tag teams that I love so much. So anything with Bishamon, and I'm always kind of like a fan and keen to watch them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially those two big men running length for the Hall to collide. We also had Zack Sabre Jr. defeating Yoshihashi and Naoki Goto defeating Ryo Oiwa. Both good matches. February 8th, after careful consideration, discussion with New Japan management. Hang on a minute. I mean, I just read this. Hiromu Takahashi, who's been a long-standing member of the New Japan wrestling roster, will leave. We apologise to fans for the sudden nature of this announcement. His final scheduled appearance will be at New Beginning in Osaka on February 11th, and we wish him all his very best in future activities. Now, Gina, after a while, do you think we've just jinxed New Japan for Monty? Do you know what I mean? It's like every one of his favourites, and now Takahashi, you know?
Hey, we? I definitely have not changed anything for Monty, but it does feel like there's a sort of, a curse going around at the moment of just everyone just dropping like flies, it just seems like everyone's just going, but it's also being kind of out of the blue and people not expecting it. So I appreciate your apologies, but also I don't want them.
It just seems weird. They put on a special show for him. So he started off with a young lion match, really, defeated Masaru Yasuda in a Boston Crab in his last singles matchup. Tag team match, we had Murashima and Tiger Mask defeating Honma and Shoma Kato. 8-man tag team match, TMDK defeated the never openweight 6-man tag team champions Bishamon, Boat and Oleg, and Taguchi. An 8-man tag team match, House of Torture defeated Aaron Wolf and Toriano and Yo with Master Wato. And 6-man tag team match, El Desperado, Yuri Mo and Shota Umino defeated Unbound Company, Utilize and Oscar with Nagai. Knockout Bros attacked after, said a message that they would be tag champs and literally spat in the face as well. 8-man tag team match, Unbound Company, Hiromu Takahashi, Taji Ishimori, Drew Maloney, Robbie X defeated United Empire, Jacob Austin Young, Greater Khan, Zane J, and Hanari. Zane J is developing nicely, but of course, eating the pins here. They continue to fight after the bell. We're encountering their heat, getting their heat back as well. And then the 6-man tag team match, United Empire, Akira Newman and Jake Lee defeated Unbound Company, which was Suji, Finley, and Gedo. The fight started before the bell and continued well afterwards. As for backstage comments, well, Takahashi, Monty, as we spoke about, he put Yasuda over. He said he's leaving New Japan but wants people to remember him. He said it doesn't feel like the end. But why is he leaving? What's the main reason behind it?
You asking me to get in Romu's head?
Well,
Like,
no,
nah,
I
I
thought
don't.
it was. I thought it was a case of didn't he want to be the first junior junior heavyweight champion to win the heavyweight championship? So, do you know what I mean? A main event of Wrestle
That
Kingdom.
is,
That was
and I'm glad you brought it up because
right.
on actual the New Beginning show, his last statement after by the way, I don't know if we're gonna talk about it, but him and Desperado, who were great, who were like two biggest rivals in of the junior division for a while now, just was talking backstage, and Despy almost made a Roma cry. And by the way, that meant so much to me just to see them talking like that because they used to beat the hell out of each other. So to see them just kind of talk like that was really really cool. But his last comment there was, "I still have a dream, which is to be the junior heavyweight champion and win the IWGP heavyweight title." And so he still has that goal, even leaving. But he said he also had a new dream that he didn't tell us about. So maybe the leaving has got something to do with this new dream. And in my own little Naito fan servicely stand world, I would like to say whatever happened in Naito's contract negotiating meeting that pissed him off and made him leave with Bucci, he told all his friends about it, and they all was like, you know what? We're taking a break. We're leaving. We're gonna do something else. Now the thing is, none of them really. Like we don't know what evil that Haramu has kind of been radio silent for the most part, even though I know it's what the rumors say. But until him and Evil show up in WWE or NXT, I'm not really even entertaining any of it until he actually do it. And Sonata literally just said I'm going on a journey, which basically like even Shingo was like, yeah, I think he MIA. It's funny y'all said y'all cursed me, but Shingo said he not a curse. Like he feel like he the curse because he's like, why everybody in Lij that he started with the left. So yeah, so even Shingo kind of feel like something going on, but yeah, in my mind, I'd be like, yeah, no, the reason why he's leaving is because they all felt like Naito got screwed, and they just like, we don't really want to do this anymore. But I don't. I have nothing else. I got nothing really to go on, and I don't even want to give Naito that much credit, even though I know Hiromu loves him some Naito. So yeah, man. Again, Hiromu is the probably the greatest. If you want to argue with Jushin Thunder Liger, you can, but I can make an argument that Hiromu is the greatest junior heavyweight of all time. So, and he wants to do something that junior heavyweights have not been allowed to do. And if it was any junior heavyweight, I thought, especially before he got that bad injury. If it was in the junior heavyweight, I thought one day they were gonna let fight for the world title seriously. It would have been Hiromu. So uh I wish him the best. I think he'll be fine no matter what because he's a freaking maniac. Like literally, Hiromu is a maniac. So I think he can. I think no matter what happens, he will do good, especially because he's a great wrestler. But I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen between him, Sonata, Evil, like whatever. Sonata might just be on break because I haven't really heard any rumors at all about him doing anything else with nobody. But as far as Hiromu and Evil goes, I'm interested to see what they do. But
Yeah.
it's nobody like Hiromu as a personality and or performer, like legit, real legend. So yeah, that's how I felt about that. But as far as why, he's a maniac. I got no clue.
Well, not to bring everybody down again, but Tiger Mask then said goodbye to Murashima backstage. Tiger is, of course, retiring in July, and Mura is going on excursion, so they won't see each other again. So at this moment in time, I'm just like, can everybody just stop leaving? All right, we just someone stay. Jacob Austin Young took Takashi's jacket. Hanari said he doesn't know why he's getting booed. And Jax, this is really interesting because Hanari, as we spoke about, he was fighting for the United Empire against the evil war dogs, get his head cut open and, bash his leg up. Comes back a year later and all of a sudden he's the bad guy and Finley's getting cheered. Like, what's that about?
I mean that like yeah, I kind of have to get behind Hanari on this. Like that I don't understand that really. Finley's always made it obvious that he's the bad guy in this situation. So why Hanari came back with the booze, I don't know.
He's like, what have I done? Jake Lee
Because that
invited
little shit, Newman, you know why.
He made it so. He made it so.
Jake Lee invited Suji for a sit down chat in the ring. And I don't mind Jake Lee. I mean, Gina, you always give an honest opinion about wrestling. Jake Lee, what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts on him? Because at first I was like, oh, I don't know, but it's just something about him I quite like.
I don't know. I quite like him. I think he's a
Oh,
unique individual. And he's not someone that I know very well. Um,
I
he's
can
like new
tell.
from me. And yeah, I actually am intrigued by him. Every time I see him, I'm kind of intrigued. What is he going to do? Or, so I personally have been excited by seeing him. But I know that like it's been conflicting with other people. Some people love him and some people dislike him. I'm not quite sure why they dislike him, but I don't know. I like the character that he's bringing so far. Is he's a weirdo, and
Yeah.
I like weirdos.
You wouldn't do this pod if you didn't. Like I said, but Jake Lee has a chance at becoming, I don't know if it's called a Triple Crown champion, Monty. I don't know if it's whatever it is, but only 5 men have won the world title in All Japan, New Japan, and Noah. I'm not going to ask you who they are. I think I've got it written down here. Kenzo Sasaki, Yoshihira Takayama, Keiji Muta, the great Muta, Satsuya Kojima, and Yuji Nagata. I mean, that's pretty impressive that those 5 men have done it, but Jake Lee could be on that list. And by the sounds of it, you're not that happy about it.
I hate Jake Lee, and I'll just leave it at that. I just leave it at that for now. What a
Is he
bang
a
on
full
my
member of
life.
the United Empire, or is he just like aligned with them?
They
He's
let
got
him
to be a
hang
full
around.
member. Yeah, he's got the
Yeah,
But
title.
they
he's
let
not
him
like
hang around.
he's not like fully aligned with him.
He is, but I don't think they like him much. They don't like. You saw when Osprey came back initially, he didn't even shake his hand.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. If you want my
Like the
honest
little
opinion, I think
weirdo
he's
in
a
the
little bit
back.
of a fucking weirdo, if you ask
No,
me.
he's definitely a weirdo. But no, he's definitely a weirdo. But yeah, that's not why I don't like him. I don't like him because he, like James just said, he is one of the most accomplished wrestlers in Japanese wrestling history, and he sucks. I don't get it. I don't understand. And Noah, I didn't know why they made him world champion. I don't get it. But whatever. You guys like him. I don't argue with people who like Jake Lee. I just
I
let it
mean,
go.
I don't know. I mean, my sister says that she likes him or doesn't mind him, but I just find him to be a fucking weirdo.
No, he's
So
yeah,
I
definitely weird.
like him. I don't know too much about him, but
I
I don't mind him.
yeah. I
I
don't think
think
he
that's the
strangles
gimmick, and
cats or
I just don't
anything.
like him.
Yeah, yeah. He's not
I think
like
he's supposed to be weird, but I just don't like him.
yeah. Well,
He
we're
is
just
fucking weird.
we're just about to find out if the weirdo is going to become one of these 6 man on the list to win
Save
all
us,
three
Suji.
titles. New beginning February 11th. We got Togi Makeba, Toriyano, and Sho Mikato, and of course Murashima with a lovely video looking at the career of Takahashi. Unbound Co, Hiromu Takahashi, and Taiji Ishimori defeated United Empire. Kira attacked Hiromu after the match. Robbie X made the save. Hiromu waved goodbye to the crowd as, of course, this was his final match in New Japan. Rumors are on his way to NXT apparently, but he did get his jacket back, which I guess is the important thing. War Dragons, Driller Maloney, and Shingo defeated United Empire, Greater Khan, and Hanari. And Driller announced he's re-signing with New Japan and will be in the New Japan Cup tournament. Fucking hell, Jax. Finally, some good news, you know? And again, as we mentioned,
Yeah.
Shingo and Driller, what a fucking team, you know?
Well, again, this came as a surprise because we've been seeing a lot of like sort of teasers on AEW of Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors coming over. So I was wondering to myself, when is Driller gonna be joining this? So it was nice to see that not everyone's leaving. And also I think this would be good for Driller. I think this will give him a chance to really kind of um like break away from the Bullet Club sort of like persona he's had and really maybe make something of his own, like come out of his own shell and get out of sort of David Finney's shadow.
Yeah, without doubt. We got the never openweight six-man tag team championship. Bishop Montin defeated TMDK. I mean, this is how you book a trios title, Tony. All right, just have a look, have them have matches together, and have the titles actually mean something. Next match, Andrade El Idolo defeated Gabe Kidd, and with that, Andrade earned an IWGP Global Heavyweight title at New Beginning USA. Gina, it seems Gabe is on his way out and Andrade's on his way up, and he's continuing that momentum, it seems, at this moment in time.
Yeah, which is nice to see. Again, for us who have seen like where Andrade was with WWE and AEW and now seeing him come across here, it's nice to see him put up there and, getting these wins for sure.
Yeah, right. That we got Callum Newman defeating David Finlay. Newman destroyed Finn towards the end. Callum Newman needed this, and Finlay is leaving as well. You could see the tears in his eyes as he said goodbye to Takahashi, who was on commentary. And again, I mean, Monty, we spoke about David Finlay. How big a loss is he? Because again, we've talked about all the kind of huge people that we associate with New Japan, and Finlay was kind of one of the guys that maybe went under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, he was probably the only person I would say that was kind of like a foreign ace or like a foreign number one guy or number two guy behind like maybe Zach that did not that like you said didn't really feel like he was as big as a Jay White or some of the other guys, Kenny who left, people like that. But he really was that important and like it was I watched him evolve into who he was. I remember when he was basically just he was making up C block so he can get on the G1 card, and he was just looking for an opportunity. He was a very different David Finlay, much more personality, funny guy, especially with him and Juice Robinson when they were Finn Juice. I remember that tag team run, and then to kind of watch him evolve into what he became when he took over the Bullet Club, and way more serious, way more vicious, more of a power wrestler than he ever was because he kind of grew into his body more, and to kind of again, he became a really great worker. Like I said, very underrated, one of the best in New Japan, especially over the last couple of years. And I think at the end of the day, he'll be fine in America. I was kind of this one of the ones that this one didn't shock me or hurt me as much. I think the foreigners don't really do much for me as far as leaving or hurt me at all at this point. I pretty much expect at some point you're gonna want to go either to your native country or somewhere else. So I'm not really surprised at all. But at the same time, I thought it was cool to put over Newman, even if you can make an argument that they kind of worked a little too hard because he kind of got his ass whooped. If you really think about a big chunk of that match that Newman kind of dominated. But yeah, I mean, it is important because now they got to fill that slot of like, okay, who's gonna step up in the foreign role because that's just kind of how New Japan has always worked. And maybe Newman is that guy, but like I think that's the whole point. Like you kind of always gotta have a one or two guys in the foreign role that can really stand up to the top of the the actual Japanese wrestlers of New Japan. It's kind of how it's been booked for years now. So yeah, Finley's loss is a big deal, but I think it's something that they already probably have been prepping for. But yeah, man, again, I thought I thought it was cool that Newman was able to put him down. Really looked like the Prince, and he like he said in his promo, he did with his big brother Billy, which is Will Ospreay, that he couldn't do. He did what his big brother Billy couldn't do, which is put Finley down and out. So you kind of gotta respect that. So I thought this was a good piece of business, but yeah, it's gonna, I don't know. I'm all now that I'm here in the future and I see what he's doing in AEW, he fits really well. So I'm not really shocked to see him gone. But as somebody, Finley's been here pretty much as long as I've been watching. Like he was basically a young lion when I started watching. So that he means a little bit to me too, in a sense.
Mm, you're well old. Uh, Hiroshi Tanahashi announced New Japan Dominion will air live on TV. Asahi. Never Openweight Championship. Ren Narita defeated Aaron Wolf to win the title. This was a joke. Aaron Wolf had his first ever title reign put to an end in just over 2 minutes. He was attacked during his entrance by House of Torture with Doki, Dick Togo, Show, and Takahashi jumping in from behind. A ref bump early in the match allowed the Troop to get the hands of Wolf once again, this time attacking him in the ring. Eventually, Hell's guillotine knee drop off the top rope from Narita, which put an end to this bout. I mean, I don't think we've spoken about Aaron Wolf, but, he was kind of this big guy, beat Evil at Wrestle Kingdom, won the championship. We're going, oh, what's next? And then this, like 2 minute loss.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like there was a pretty big deal about him sort of like his arrival within New Japan. And it died down pretty quickly, didn't it?
Mm.
I don't know, did he piss off management or something like that? Because of like there was a lot of hype about him when he first joined. And then I don't know, it's not like it was like, all bad, but I just feel like it was just kind of like it started to become lackluster as to like, where his push was, like where his direction was going. So so I think, maybe they just had focus elsewhere, they're focusing on other talent, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it did feel like the momentum dropped a little bit with Aaron Wolf.
Without a doubt. IWGP Tag Team Championships, Knockout Brothers, Yuta Ice and Oscar defeat Shooter Umino and Yura Uemura. The Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona appeared on the screen with Ricochet calling out Taji Shimori and Gates Agony challenging the Knockout Brothers. As for the match, Umino was booed and looks like Knockout Brothers are faces now. But again, Gina, I'm going to say it again. It's another great fucking tag team matchup, and again, Umino, Uemura are coming so close. But Knockout Brothers just that little step ahead in the tag team division, that is.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel for it because, like, another L, and I really like Yuya as well. Yuya's someone that I've like kind of kept a close eye on since he lost his hair, in that hair versus hair match. So for see the loss come here, but then again, like you said, the tag team group, they have such a great chemistry, and I didn't really see like Oscar and Yuto Ice being some of my favorites, and they have truly grown to become some of my favorites at the moment. So they're doing well with it, at least.
I fucking love them. Again, I don't want to talk about too much, but yeah, Knockout Brothers at the moment, like one reason to watch wrestling.
But I
I
do feel like if I met Yuto Ice in real life, me and him would be besties. I do feel that.
Yeah, and I want to call Oscar Big Dog for some reason as well when I meet him. But hey, we'll get to that at some point. IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Yo Suji defeated Jake Lee. This was a hard hitting match. It was a bit hit or miss, Monty, I suppose, to some. Suji and Hiromu addressed the crowd afterwards. An Unbound Company gave Hiromu a send off, which was quite a nice touch.
You said it was hit or miss. I hate Jake Lee, man. That's that. I love the ending of the match because it was over. Great celebration. Great celebration for Hiromu.
Well,
Hiromu,
shit.
you saw my boy. You saw my boy Yuto Ice crying. I'm so Suji. Hey man, all right, all right. Let me say it this way. This is more so about Romo for me. At the end, I kind that's mostly what I took away from it. But Jake Lee has never been for me. I will always say that I've never really cared for him. Suji couldn't even save it. They tried, and like I said, I know what he's trying to do. But I will repeat what I'm probably gonna say if I get the cup match he have or a couple of cup matches. I'm gonna let you know. He's supposed to be funny. Y'all know it's funnier. He's supposed to be weird. All right. Besides being weird, does he do anything for me as a wrestler? Not so much. So it is what it is. I didn't like it. I knew I wasn't gonna like it. Maybe it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe I should have just said, you know what? Let's act like I don't like Jay Lee. Let's act like I do like Jay Lee, and let's just watch the match. Maybe I would have found something. But yeah, it wasn't really much here for me to care about. But the celebration at the end, and Suji looking like a great champion, and Hiromu coming out, and you saw Utah Ice crying like a baby because that's just how cool and important Hiromu is to him, I guess. Or either way it goes, it's funny to see because again, you don't see that type of emotion from wrestlers at all anymore. And again, I don't want to act like the match was like a train wreck. It wasn't. I just didn't really care about it. It was kind of boring to me for as far as the main event. I didn't like it as a first place to go for Suji's reign. That wasn't the move I would have made. But at the end of the day, it was what it was. It was solid enough. A great send off for Hiromu, and the show ended off with good vibes because of it. But if you like Jake Lee, maybe you saw something in this match that I just ignored. So yeah, James, did you like this match? Did you like something? You said it was hit or miss. What was the hit for you?
I liked it. Again, Suji needs challenges like that to, cement himself as a world heavyweight champion. And like someone like you said, with Jake Lee's been successful in other promotions, it makes perfect sense for him to be that guy. He's not going to win the title, but again, it's a good defense for Yota Suji. So booyah.
I think
Backstage
you're one of those weird people who think he's attractive. That might be what it is.
He
I
is
have no
quite attractive. I got something about
See,
him.
I knew
Has,
it.
I
You
think
got to
he's
be
got
one of
something about
those people who think he
him.
handsome because that's the only way I get it.
there's
Other than
very
that, he
there's
sucks.
very
But
few
okay.
New Japan wrestlers I don't find attractive. All right. So anyway, backstage comments. Desmond called Takahashi the man. He gave him a mask for one of their matches, and as you mentioned earlier, Monty, the chat between the two was something that you just don't get. Everything just seems, especially in America, so kind of like preened or determined, even with like the unreal stuff. You know what I mean? This was nice. Driller said he can't promise forever, but he's going to start now. Gabe said people stick up for New Japan now because he did. He said it's not working. He said he didn't move on for the Kenny Omega match. I thought this was quite interesting, Jax, with Gabe basically explained. He said he's seen his mum twice. He's taking time off. Do you know what I mean? Like we said, after the Kenny Omega match last year, he was New Japan's kind of great hope, and it's weird how it's just fallen off a little bit.
It kind of reminds me of what we were just saying about Aaron Wolf, where it just kind of didn't seem to uh it's not seemed to pick up, and I don't know where things went wrong or whether or not the booking just kind of fell through. But yeah, it was just one of those things where we thought he was going to be New Japan's like next big guy, and it turns out uh he wasn't.
Yeah, I know. It's
It's
weird.
like
It
it's
is
like
really
they
weird.
pivoted like last minute and was like, actually, do you know what? Fuck it, don't worry about that. Go to
Yeah.
AEW, is fine.
Yeah, we don't need. We got Newman.
Yeah.
Callum Newman he did say Will couldn't, as Monty did mention. Ren Narita is the new leader of House of Torture. Gina, are you happy about that? Evil has gone, and Ren Narita, I suppose he is champion, has taken the lead.
I mean, it makes sense with him being champion, but no, I'm not personally excited about that. Why would I be? I'm not Ren Narita's biggest fan.
Right, but even for House of Torture, is that
Uh,
the right direction?
I mean, I think it is just because he has the belt and he kind of acts as if he's, on top already and running things. So you may as well just let him take the
Uh,
reins.
I like it because he do the King Kong knee drop. Shout out to Makabe. Oh yeah, we
Show
negotiating, y'all. So stop slandering my boy.
Shota said he's all talk, no results. And they must have taken a long time to design a new Unbound Co t-shirt. It's white with Unbound Co written on it. Who comes up with these ideas? And when it comes to Suji, I tell you what, the camera work is on point. I don't know what it is about him, but he's just so kind of the camera loves him. I can't do the Takahashi stuff justice. All of Umpire and Co were there, not Gabe and Finn. And like I said, Uterice crying got me. Bless his little heart. Come here, Uterice. Andrade told Suji he's the next champion. We then had Fantastamania, which will have to wait. I've got too much. So we move on to New Beginning USA, February 27th. I actually purchased this on the New Japan app to show my support. I won't do it again. David Finlay beat Fred Rosser. For all intents and purposes, this was Finn's last New Japan appearance. So, I mean, Jax, maybe that's a quiz question down the line. What was David Finlay's last match? It was against Fred Rosser, a.k.a. I can't even remember what his name was in fucking WWE now.
Darren Young.
Yes, Darren Young, primetime players, wasn't it?
I don't even remember who Darren Young was in WWE, but I
millions
also
of dollars,
did not.
millions of dollars. They used to do that.
Titus O'Neil's tag partner. If you know who that is.
Nexus. Come on, you know Darren Young.
I don't really remember. I just remember that Titus O'Neil worked with Dana Brooke.
Yeah, close enough.
Okay, we'll take it.
Move on. But No Leg defeated Tomohiro Ishii for the strong openweight championship. I mean, we knew this would be good. And Gina, I mean, we spoke about, Jake Lee, but Boat and Oleg, there was just something I really like, and so does the crowd. Is it because we used to kind of like foreign heels? Do you know what I mean? And Boatin just seems like quite a friendly dude smashing his way through life,
I think that's it. He just gives that off that vibe. He seems like this really big foreign dude who seems like he's a big teddy bear at the same time. So I think everyone's just behind him. The crowd love him. He has so much hype. It's actually quite shocking. I was quite shocked to see how much hype he has behind him.
Yeah. It's crazy to think this was his first match in America as well. So that's just kind of how young he is in his career. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing great then already to start off with.
Yeah, without a doubt. Ricochet defeated Taiji Ishimori for the AW National Championship. It was fine. El Desperado and Kushida defeated Alec Price and Jordan Oliver. I mean, it's good to see Despy and Kushida, but what the fuck was this match? Takeshita with Rocky Romero defeated El Fantasmo for the New Japan World Television Championship. Fantasmo grabbed a microphone and beckoned Takeshita back in the ring, alluding to previous time limit draw. So they went to a draw, and then they continued it with Takeshita getting the victory. But again, as I mentioned earlier, Monty, I mean, Takeshita and ELP they can't have a bad match. It's just a set of wrestlers that they can't have a bad match no matter what.
What's so cool about this too is that now that, as much as I love ELP, and I really do love him, like I want more. I want the world for ELP as a wrestler. Like if it was anybody who I would love to be, like in the top spot, it would be him. But this match was incredible. You can't really do it justice. But the beautiful thing about now being able to do it justice is you can watch it for free. It's still on YouTube. It's right on YouTube because all of the TV championship matches are on free, and I think that's also a plus with having Takeshita now running with that belt because now you might get a couple or like one or two free Takeshita matches just on YouTube that you can watch for him to defend his belt. So, I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, this was incredible. What I didn't really, like you said, I don't really expect much else from these two, and the fact that they kind of did ELP some justice and took it to a draw. Putting over again how great of a champion he was before he, puts over Takeshita. I thought it was a good one, and it was a really good vibe, and it was a strong showing from both guys, which again, you may have expected it, but it's still always nice to see, and it definitely was good. And I actually didn't even watch this on the actual card. Before I went back and watched the actual US card, I watched it for free on YouTube. So I'm gonna keep hammering home that point that the TV title matches are free, guys. So
Are you sponsored by YouTube in this episode?
Hey, I got YouTube Premium. I might be.
We got Knockout Brothers, Oscar and Uterice defeating the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Tony Leona for the IW Tag Team Championship. What's cool about this, Jax, is that like I said, we know Gates of Agony from AEW, and then to go against Knockout Brothers, and it just made Knockout Brothers seem a bit cooler. Like I said, I love them. I really love them.
Yeah, I mean, it's big dudes facing big dudes, isn't it? So it was definitely great to kind of see them come over and have this match. It was a fun one too.
without a doubt. We had Siru defeating Athena for the IWGP Women's Championship. Athena denied the sportsmanship and then totally stole her Ring of Honor World Championship, hinting at an upcoming match between the two. And then we got an Alex Windsor vignette airing, signaling her challenge to Siru at Eve's Wrestle Queendom 8. I mean, Gina, it's just a shame we don't get to see Athena weekly, because even in this, it's just how fucking great she is. It's just a shame.
Yeah, I think I said this on our last pod. Just give me more Athena, please, because it seems like they're just keeping her from my TV screens. So yeah, I just I don't understand why we don't see more of her. She's just really great to watch. So I hope that this means that she might be coming back our way for a more permanent time, but we'll see. Please give me more though.
Yeah, that's what we want. If we ask every podcast, that's all we can do. You know what I mean? And maybe someone will listen and give us a Athena. And maybe she's got 3 matches on YouTube. You should check out. The main event, Yota Tsuji defeated Andrade El Idolo for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. The Boston Crab got the win. Tsuji spoke complete English, thanking Idolo for the match and New Jersey for hosting it. He declared himself not the future, but the now of pro wrestling and placed New Japan all over all other promotions going today. Monty, I mean, again, maybe the show as a whole I wasn't that fucking fond of, but I thought the main event and Tsuji's statement, because, people know Andrade, even if you don't watch, we've been watching wrestling the past 5 years or so. Tsuji getting the win is big. And of course, it was a global championship as well, rather than the IWGP heavyweight title on the line.
Yeah, I like that utilization of the belt. I don't know how common they are, and I don't necessarily want the global belt to just turn into the U.S. only title. But I mean, I guess we can see what that looked like. But Suji sounded like a great ambassador for the company, like you said, in America, and I think that's always good. And my overall thoughts on New Beginning was that this is the level of cooperation that I think we need to see more of with AEW, ROH, and I think CMLL might still work with New Japan. Of course, they did the other thing, so I think they still do. But the point is that I think that type of cooperation make the partnerships worth it. And it shows that if we can get some of that in Japan, maybe every now and then I'm cool with that too. But especially like I think at the end of the day we need the partnerships to be to express pretty good relationships, and then we can get things more interactions throughout the year between certain talents and stuff like that, and we can get more shows like this. My favorite matches was definitely the last two. I mean, of course, Athena and Sayuri. Sayuri has been one of the greatest, best women's wrestlers in the world for a long time now, and we know what Athena has been doing. So we know what she can do and what they're doing. So it was good to see them. And I think, like you said, the Andrade is on a freaking roll, including this match. And although the entire show wasn't like full of bangers or anything, I do think it ended up being a pretty good show as far as looking like the health of New Japan and their United States relationships, or just cross promotion relationships seem to be in a decent place. So I don't know how much this will involve or like evolve into the current product of AEW or New Japan or Ring of Honor for that matter. But at the end of the day, I do think it ended up being a pretty good show. And like you mentioned, Suji looked like a pretty good ambassador to kind of carry the New Japan flag forward, which is what you want to out of your champ.
Yeah, without a doubt. Backstage comments. Rosser wants to be in the G1. Well, so do I, but it's not going to happen. Bolton spoke English. Ricky said everything he says is facts. I've heard that before. Despy didn't know who he had wrestled, but he had fun. ELP said he's good, but maybe he doesn't have what it takes to be a top guy. I mean, Jackson, it's always bad to say. Like I said, we love ELP, but he's come up short now, and just we wonder what's next,
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of ELP, so I kind of like felt a bit disheartened as to like what the next stages were for him. It does seem like, a lot of the factions that he was part of did kind of die out, and he's not really kind of gelled or warmed to anyone else since. So I do wonder what's in store for him next.
when Takeshita said he's done the Never and the IWGP now to help the TV title out, and he credits ELP. We got a lot of grunts and shouts from a lot of the Americans. The Knockout Brothers were happy. Athena had a breakdown. Andrade will see us soon, and Suji wants to work with Andrade, but LIJ are gone, and Unbound are here to stay. All right, so on to the New Japan Cup, and we did make picks this year. I went Callum Newman. Monty went for Yuri Uemura with him beating Newman or in the finals or beating Zach. Jax went for Driller and Gina went for Yuri Uemura. So we're going to find out. We start 4th of March, night 1. Olive Boat and Toriani defeated El Fantasma and Jado with a vicious nipple cripple. Unbound Co. defeated United Empire. Oscar choked out Newman after when the Prince got in his face. I really did enjoy it because Newman was like, yeah, what are you going to do? And Oscar just fucking choked him out. Made me fucking piss myself laughing. TMDK defeated Unbound Co., which was Gedo, Robbie X, Taji Shimura, Yoto, Suji, and Yuta Ice. And then New Japan Cup matches. Don Farley defeated Aaron Wolf. Monty. What is this? I know we had House of Torture and nonsense and all this stuff, but come on, man. Don Farley.
My pending new leader, Ren Narita, let me know that, I have to let you guys know this, that Aaron Wolf got to start watching his back. Because didn't the same thing? It's like, why did he come out the entrance to say, at this point, his head should be on a swivel as soon as he make his entrance? Because we know when you fight them, at this point, they going to jump in the entrance. They jumped in the exact same way. Yeah, maybe that.
Spin around.
He's not learned from Shota Umino's mistakes, has he, really? Like, just never let his guard down.
I don't understand how he didn't know, because it was literally the exact same way he got attacked last time. Now, he did fight a lot longer, you know what I mean? But the torture is everlasting. Come on, man. I mean, Wolf looked strong because he pretty much fought a faction by himself, but he survived for as long, like, what, I guess a good 6-7 minutes by himself. But, Fale moves on. I mean, you asked me what it is, James. I think they knew the hype because he is an Olympian. I think at Wrestle Kingdom, to kind of talk about what y'all been talking about with Wolf this entire time, I think at Wrestle Kingdom, the hype about him was because he was such a prominent Japanese Olympian. And they were like, the fact they were giving him his first match at Wrestle Kingdom, it was a title match, it was against Evil. So it really put him on the map as being somebody that people thought would have to, now I ain't gonna say skip the young line.
You're kind of saying like the same, like what they did with the sort of Olympic gold medalists in WWE, like brought them on like they were a big deal, but they never heard from them again.
Well, I hope it don't go that bad, but yeah, it's kind of like
don't Gable Stevenson in, fuck's sake.
Yeah,
I don't even remember their names.
Right. I hope it don't go that bad, but I think the point is like, let's use that name value, especially on Wrestle Kingdom. Let's use that name value. A lot of people gonna watch because they know who he is, and then so he started off on fire, like beating a prominent person on the roster, especially since Evil leaving. It would make even more sense. Put him over. He probably worked a lot with Evil. Evil probably helped train him. So put him over, and then the problem was they gave him a belt, and then it was like, oh, he might not be ready to actually be a champion of some sort. So then they're like, all right, well, let's undo that and let's give it to Red Rita, who we know can actually run with the belt a little bit. But I think what happened was they used his name value, and I think now he's going through. I'm not saying he's going to be as bad as a young lion, but they seem to be giving him his kind of like, because New Japan likes to do this. When you're young, you ain't going to win much. So I think that's partially what's going on, but he still looks strong in the way they making him lose. So he's definitely way better off than just saying he's like a young lion. But I don't know, we'll see. But that's what I'm guessing is going on. If you want to ask like why he got to lose to Fale like that or whatever. But yeah, that's the only explanation I have. But yeah, other than that, hey man, this is House of Torture business. So stop asking questions, John.
Yuri Uemura defeated Great O'Khan. Uemura grass victory with a successful deadbolt suplex and a high cross in a strong match. But again, Jax, it's someone like Great O'Khan, our hero. We had big plans, and he's just not doing much at the moment. Can't even get by his first round.
I mean, like with Great O'Connor, I feel like I have no idea what goes on through his head. He's so freaking random at times. Like I sometimes wonder whether or not he himself knows what his plan of action is.
Yeah, no, it's true. I don't think he knows. But I
It
don't
beats
think.
to his own gong, you know.
Yeah, without doubt. But yeah, like we said, Uemura is through. He mixed up his words a little bit afterwards, but the crowd are fully behind him, which was really nice to see. Night 2, March 5th. It wasn't a great night for House of Torture on the undercard. Unbound Co. defeated United Empire, which was Callum Newman and Same J. TMDK defeated Unbound Co., which was Yota Tsuji, Robbie X, Shooter Rice, Taji Ishimori, and the guy. And then we had Oleg Bolton defeating El Fantasmo. Top rope kamikaze for the win. I mean, Gene, as we said, it's a damn shame ELP has lost his groove. But again, Bolton looked like a killer here.
Yeah, it is a shame for ELP, but like you said, with Bolton looking so strong, again, it's kind of solidifying like how they're pushing him and how he really is just gaining the popularity of the crowd as well as getting the respect, you know. Just showing how much he's showcasing in his wrestling. His matches are really great, and I've just grown more and more intrigued with every match I see Bolton in. So this was a really great match. It's unfortunate that like ELP lost it, but I also think that in a way it's ELP sort of not passing the torch, but letting people know that someone like Bolton can beat him, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. And then, old Monty, see if you like the House of Torture nonsense now. Ren Narita defeated Tai Chi to advance to the next round of New Japan Cup. Huh? Do you like that? Your boy Tai Chi out.
I mean, Tachi deserved better. I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, you know, this this is a better Ren Narita House of Torture style match than the other ones I've seen. This is much better than that. How about that? It probably didn't need to be 20 minutes, but the first 15 minutes of this match, Chachi was beating. They was really wrestling the first 15 or so. Maybe you could argue Ren didn't need to win this one more as much as Tachi could have used it, and maybe Tachi could have gave us a couple fun more matches. But I had fun, you know what I'm saying? I had fun watching. Maybe sometimes you gotta be selfish. Like maybe I know, especially when I'm watching House of Torture matches, this might be a lot of people out there who just like who don't give a shit or like just mad. Oh, here we go again, and here I am falling for Uncle Nobu's trick just like Tachi did. I knew he was gonna probably do it, but it was still funny to watch Tachi act like I couldn't believe Tachi believed that Nobu was gonna help him, but he did it, and because I know Tachi's and Uncle Nobu's history, and not just Five Guys, like even in the Suzuki Gun days, they were like that's his boy. So of course. I understand a little bit why Tachi just thought for a second that Nobu was on his side and not on Ren Narita's side. But
I just
that cost him at the end. I appreciated that. Let me
but
appreciate it. All right, and shut up. House of
that's what I'm
Torture.
saying. Most wrestlers, like the House of Torture, would be like, "Oh no, do you know what? I'm turning to the good side," and the other wrestler would be like, "Okay," and then they turn on it. That happens fucking every month, it seems. But hey, House of Torture. What do we do?
It's House of
Uh,
Torture. Shut up.
Anniversary show March 6th, night 3. Nagai, Drilla Maloney defeated Masaru Yasuda and Yuri Uemura. United Empire, Jake Young and Kieran, Great Khan and Hanari defeated Matsumoto, Toriyanu, Hiroki Goto, and Oleg Bolton. TMDK defeated Gedo, Yuta Ice. House of Torture, which is Kanamo Donfale, defeated Suji and Shingo. At House Torch as well, Togo Show and Takashi with Chase Owens, Ren Narita defeated Leona, Aaron Wolf, Shota Umino, Kijima, and also Tatsumi Fujinama, who is 72 years old. Yes, he wrestled in this match. His first.
He was 72? Oh my gosh.
He was in the Fujiyama was in the first New Japan match 54 years ago, and he's still wrestling now. Eh? How about
Respect to him.
we had the New Japan Cup tournament first round. Jake Lee defeated Yoshihashi. This was a competitive match. But as I said, Jake Lee isn't for all. He got the win with a guillotine choke. I mean, Jax, we kind of knew, no offense to Yoshihashi, but we kind of knew he wouldn't go that far, if you know what I mean. Like expendable tag partner in some people's eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point, especially being a champion, a part of the tag division, I didn't think that like his main push was going to be within a singles division at this capacity at this moment. So, as disheartening as it is, because I actually love Yoshihashi, I also didn't see him going far without that sounding disrespectful.
Yeah, I think it'd be fair to say. And also another New Japan tournament first round. Callum Newman defeated Oscar. I've got to say, Oscar looks great as a singles, but this was a big win for Newman, who's trying to get out of the even bigger shadow of Will Ospreay. The Prince did tap out, but the referee was down. Newman got the win after using the chair. But still, Gina, it's an impressive victory because Oscar is a big fucker, you know?
Yeah, he's one big guy, and he did have a bit of animosity towards Callum Newman as well. So it was a little bit like, is Callum about to get murdered in front of us all by Oscar right now? But I think, like you said, you are right. I think like Callum Newman probably was in the better position to get this win, with the momentum behind him in this singles push that he's getting, where over Oscar. But Oscar still looks really great and dominating. So it does just show you that when Oscar's ready to go into the singles run, I think he'll smash through it.
Yeah,
Literally
no.
smash through it.
Yeah, I completely agree. We got the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Robbie X and Kazuya Shimori defeated Ishban Sweet Boys, Vegeta, and Robbie Eagles for new tag champions. I mean, a little bit surprised. This was just a good match. I do love the Super Juniors. Monty Robbie X is doing good in my eyes. He got the pin over Vegeta. Akira and Jacob attacked the new champs afterwards, but it's all go with the Junior Heavyweight division, especially with the tags.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, TMDK loses again. I mean, I ain't if you team TMDK, if that's your favorite faction, I ain't gonna lie. They've been up, they've been down for a while now, to be fair. But this is a great match. Like you said, new champ, hell of a match. Robbie X trying to prove that he's just not some stand-in basically for the hole that Haramu was leaving in Unbound. But of course, Taji Ishimori, another junior heavyweight legend by the way, and them getting gold. Hell of a match, man. And Robbie X looked incredible. I think this match did a good job of kind of not only crowning new champions, but for somebody like me who's seen a little bit of Robbie X, but not really. I'm not gonna like I know a lot about him. This was a great way to kind of showcase him and crown him. So I'm excited to see, like you said, with the juniors, we know it's always gonna be high octane. The belts can always change. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
This was a really good match, and I'm not mad at the move because again, like I said, Robbie X was impressive.
No doubt. And then the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, it was Doki defeating Master Wato. Show dresses Doki to get an advantage over the Red Hot Wato. And even with Yo and Aaron Wolf, the might of House of Torture was just too
Doki is a
much.
god.
God damn it, load. You know what I'm saying? Just God damn it. Backstage comments Akira said he attacked Ishimori and Robbie because Takahashi is gone. Zack Sabre Jr. was poked in the eye. Shota thanks the legends who made it possible for New Japan to be what it is today. And Jake Lee said he's like the monkey. Now, Jackson, the monkey who fought the cuddly toy with his mum. Have you seen that news story recently?
What about Punch?
Yeah, the monkey and his
Yeah,
cuddly toy
yeah,
and
and
all
then
that.
like it wasn't like Jake Lee like holding like a teddy on him that looked like
Yeah,
him.
he says he is the monkey, and that's why he's holding the monkey because he's not really belong to any bear, but he will adopt.
Okay, I think I understand. I think I understand that because he's really fucking weird. So I think that makes a bit of sense. I think that makes a bit of sense, because he's
Yeah,
fucking weird, and I don't know how else to describe him. Like, even his music, like I know it's just eerie and creepy as it is, but it really fucking suits him. He comes
yeah,
out like looking like really fucking like weird. Like him and the Terrifier would get on really well. Like the black and white clown.
yeah.
I feel like him and the Terrifier would just get on like a house on fire.
They really would. But that's why he's got the cuddly toy. Newman told us to kiss the fucking crowd. No one wants to win it more than him. And the Ichiban boys are upset. Or should we say the Ichiban upset boys? Robbie X is proud. He said he's not replacement. And Doki said he's the greatest junior of all time. Yo walked down to confront him and took out Sho and Doki with Evil's Darkness Falls. Go Yo. And remember that he got streamers as well. March 8th, night 4, tag team match. Masada Yasuda, Yuri Amora defeated Unbound Company, Driller, Nagai. United Empire, Great Akana and Nari defeated Botan Oleg and Honma. We got TMDK getting the victory over Callum Newman and Zane J. Unbound Company, which was Yotsuji and Shingo, defeated Kanemaru and Don Farley. And then first round match of the New Japan Cup, Shota Umino defeated Chase Owens via second chapter. Now, Gina, I don't want to be horrible to a wrestler, but how the fuck has Chase Owens still got a job in 2026 in New Japan, you know?
No, I actually was considering this myself. I was quite shocked, if I'm being truly honest, with all the people that we've had leave New Japan, other people who have been elevated in New Japan. It's like, oh wait, Chase Owens still works here? How? So yeah, it's a bit of a shock. Not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but it does feel like he just
He
pops up
don't.
out of nowhere.
I don't mind the employment. I don't understand the entry
He
in the
resigned.
cup.
He resigned. He resigned. He don't. I don't. I don't. I don't.
I just don't.
I'll say
I
it
know
for you. He don't.
he beat Tanahashi once. I'm sure. I'm sure they mentioned that. But yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, the other first round matchup was Rio Oiwa defeating Yuta Ice. This was a great match, but did prove Oscar and Yuta still need each other. So, but Oiwa's story is set, Monty. He's facing Zack Sabre Jr. He's lost to him twice in a row. He needs to beat him for this time to prove, that he can go on. But again, Oiwa and Yuta Ice, this is a match we're going to see for years to come,
Yeah, man, it was very fun. It was a very fun match. I think Utah Ice has so much charisma. So I definitely could see him with that personality as long as nothing changes, because that charisma makes him so compelling and his style is unpredictable. So I think that bodes really really well for him. And Oil was also one of those guys who just so good at being resilient, so good at fighting hard and surviving. And he's also, like you mentioned, the story is there. We kind of know the pupil type of teacher type of, battle is set. But yeah, I think like you said, this is definitely the future. Both guys got a very, very, very bright futures. And yeah, man, just it's crazy, man. Sometimes I trip out thinking about that it wasn't that long ago they both were young lions, fighting at the beginning of the card. So yeah, it's really, really cool. This match was fun. And you're right. Right now, Ice and Oscar, like you said, seemingly still need each other, but it won't be long, man. With that personality and the way he wrestles, he'll be saying, "Let's get high in the singles division." Before you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Right now, Oil is like the more polished singles wrestler, so that's kind of why he it was able to kind of prevail and survive. But yeah, I'm interested to see, man, because like you said, we got can he overcome the teacher? Can he overcome Zach, who kind of brought him along to this point? So it'd be this was a good match, but it also set up an interesting match in the next round too.
Yeah, without doubt. March 10th, night 5, we had Knockout Brothers back as a tag team, defeating Yasuda and Aaron Wolf. TMDK, Saber, and Oiwa defeated Yotsuji and the guy. And then the second round match of the New Japan Cup, Shingo Takagi defeated Don Farley via the pumping bomber. I mean, Shingo wants it bad. Farley is just bad. But I suppose, Jaxie, at least Shingo won, and put Big Don down, who I don't know how he walks around and breathes at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, that's impressive.
It looks like he struggles to get down into the ring sometimes. And I just wondered to myself, should he really be wrestling? So, again, we were talking about, the shock upset win that he got with getting the win over Aaron Wolf. But I was pleasantly like relieved to like see him take an L here. I didn't really see him going far either.
No, thank fuck for that. And another second round matchup. Yuri Uemura defeated Driller Maloney via a roll up. He will face Shingo in the quarterfinals. This is again a really strong match. I mean, Gina, Driller came so close, but I think Yuri Uemura has just come into his own at the perfect time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Again, he's one that I've always enjoyed watching. So you can see how much he's grown from where he was a couple of years ago. So, and you can't help but be behind him. The crowd's behind him too.
Yeah, it was a really good matchup. March 12th, night 6, Knockout Brothers defeated House of Torture, Chase Owen and Kanamura. Team DK, Saber and Oiwa defeated Driller and Nagai. Unbound Ko, Shingo and Suji defeated Uemura and Honma. And the New Japan Cup second round, Ren Narita defeated Satsuya Kojima. I mean, Farley did kill Kojima squashing in the table. I mean, I've Monty, we talk about hardcore stunts. I think Kojima wanting to take that from Farley through a table is maybe on the level of Mankind off the Hell in the Cell, you know?
Kojima is a maniac also, but he doesn't even have to do it. You know, that's the crazy thing about it. He could tell them no. He's the vet. He's the the OG. He's a walking legend. Don't got to do this at this point. But like you said, he's still like so good that you can't even tell that he's supposed to be mid 50s and supposed to be still finding a way to do this. So again, he fights at such a high level to the point to where he was really wrestling well despite all the shenanigans. Of course, he still got that fire, that explosiveness. That's what I love the most about Kojima. And again, I think this is way better than any with Fale House of Torture match. Which, by the way, I want to say, Fale is a legit. He's like the only one. Like, say the Yujiro kind of count, but not really. Like, legitimately, Fale is the only legit Bullet Club member from day one who was right next to Finn Balor, aka Prince Devitt, when he started it. And like back in them days, again, I might be the only last standing Fale fan, only because of those days. But I will say this about Fale. It's been time for him to not be in these matches, in these tournament matches. Like it's been time for him to not have to do these matches for a long time now. The same thing with a guy who got a title match for some reason, in Yujiro, who was also in the cup for some bleeping reason. But they kind of in the same boat, to where it's like they don't really have to be here anymore. They're both past their prime by far. But it is what it is, and it's kind of fat crazy when I say that. And I'm talking about Kojima, who's supposed to be past his prime, but he's still somehow able to do his thing. But again, this was good for me, or at least fine for me, because it was nice to see Kojima just like trying to battle it out. But I do think, and this might mess up my application that I'm submitting to Ren the Reader, but I gotta say it because that's what I thought when I watched it. It's like I'm gonna be honest with you, you need your old faction to beat the old man. But Ren don't care. Ren don't care what it looks like that you need your whole faction to beat Kojima. He don't care. So we'll be all right.
No. Well, again, and it's a victory, as we say, over a former world champion, isn't it? You know, so again, it's another string to his bow, if that's what he wants to call it. Anyway, New Japan Cup second round, Boat and Oleg defeated Hinare. And Jack, see, I think it shows where each are at this moment in time. You know, we talk about how good Hinare was, but again, with injuries and dropping off, and Bolton has just kind of grown in that place, and Bolton probably is I don't know if better is a sharp word, but again, this was a good match. And also, this was
Well,
Bolton's first singles main event as well. So, again, getting
oh, was
experience
it?
on that level. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good main event, I feel. And they worked really well together. I feel like Hinari has had like sort of, one or two sort of push moment factors, but I feel like right now this is Bolton's moment for a push. Like he's been doing exceedingly well, incredibly well against different opponents in all these matches and just coming out on top and looking great. So I mean, just seeing this push for him, where he's greatly utilized, and right now he's quite loved by the crowd as well. You might as well continue to push your focus there where it needs it. I feel like Kanare is doing like a steady, decent work. It's just like it's not a push like the same as what Bolton's getting right now, you know?
Yeah. And again, like I said, Hanare's been away, come back, get more comfortable, and like I said, in a position like Bolton has got. You know, it's not bad to have Oleg having Bishamon as backup, is it? You know, so again, he's in a good place at this moment in time. March 13th, night 7, Hinare, Great Khan, Akira, Jacob Austin Young, and Zayn beat Yotsuji, Utilize, Oscar, Gado, and Nagai. Gado being with the Knockout Brothers, I guess makes more sense than Suji, you know? I mean, Monty, we talk a lot about the talent, but we don't talk about lonely managers, you know? And what do they do when the talent leaves companies, you know?
Yeah, and he didn't even get a chance to like turn on Finland like he did everybody else, you know. So that's that. I'm glad Gato found somebody else to follow around because, usually like he did Okada, like he did his own brother Jado. He turned on everybody, so he didn't even get a chance to. I feel bad that he didn't get a turn on him. So maybe he'll be able to turn on Yudo Ice or the Knockout Brothers one day. I don't know.
Well, Zayn is learning the hard way in matches, being called a young boy with the young lion music as well, which is really funny. Shingo and Driller beat Uemura and Honma, Oleg Bolton, Aaron Wolf, and Toriano over Ren Narita, Don Farley, and Yoshinori Kanemaru. And the New Japan Cup second round, Callum Newman beat Hartley Jackson. And Gina, I mean, what is this is another crazy fact? Hartley has been wrestling longer than Callum's been alive. Newman's 23 and 25th year for Big Jag.
Well, wait, how old is Hartley?
I don't know how old he must be. He's in his 40s, I'm sure he is.
Oh
He's
my
in
Hang on.
his
God.
40s.
Hang on. He's not a young, I know he's not
Okay.
a young
No, I actually thought he was much younger than that.
45 years old he is,
Yeah.
yeah. 45.
He's 45?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, well that I didn't
oh,
know. So you learn
yeah, that
something
was a
new
shock.
every day. But no, I mean, I guess in a way that's got to be tough for Hartley. I think, it's difficult. There are some wrestlers out there who kind of like know that they're not necessarily going to be a top dog, or pushed in that main character storyline. I'm not saying that like Hartley shouldn't be put in that main character storyline, but I think like every time he has wrestled, he's always been in these storylines with people who are getting that main character push. So I think it's unfortunate again for him this time, but I still think that he's been a great wrestler all throughout, and I've always enjoyed the matches that he's been involved in, especially with his faction matches.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm not sure about Newman having the Excalibur being a good name for his finisher. I think it's a bit silly naming your finisher after a sword. You know, who would do that? And also not sure about calling his signature the Tony Schiavone. Oh, I laughed when I made that joke. New Japan Cup second round. Rocky Goto beat Jake Lee. Goto received a first round bye, so this was his first match of the tournament. But again, it was quite interesting to see Jax that obviously Jake Lee has been in the heavyweight title contention, and obviously Goto was champion last year, and Goto did get the victory, so maybe that shows us where they are, in the standings of New Japan.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, at this point, I still have been trying to like wonder to myself if Jake Lee is like full time within New Japan or not because I know that he had come from Noah. So I was a little bit confused at first as to whether or not he would have like a long stance within the New Japan Cup.
Right, we move on to night 8, March 14th. Greta Khan, Hanare, Akira, Jacobson Young defeated Duke Rice, Oscar, Drilla Maloney, and the guy. Don Farley, Chase Owens, Kanemaru defeated Aaron Wolf, Kojima, and Yasuda. Shingo and Suji defeat Uemura and Honma. Jake Lee Newman, Zayn J defeated Goto, Yoshihashi, and Matsumoto. Luke Bolton and Toriano defeated Rennery and Dick Togo. In the New Japan Cup, Shota Umino defeated Yurihiro Takahashi. Loads of House of Torture interference. And Monty, can you explain why Shota just wanted to play catch? What was Red Shoe wasn't there when he was young or something? What was going on?
Yeah, maybe that's the story we'll go with then, because I wish I knew. I just want to say this. This is my takeaway from this match. Like I mentioned earlier, Yujiro, OG Bullet Club member, not really as much as an OG as Fale, but I think he's like the first Japanese Bullet Club member by far. So there you go. Uh, I again should probably stop getting these spots. And I just felt bad. I just said Gato, whoever calling the shot, they hate Shota Umino. Because why the hell he gotta fight Chase Owens, who sucks, and Yujiro, who is just like again washed up at this point. I mean, he made it funny, he begging and all the stuff that Yujiro's very theatrical. That's what I always liked about him. He's very theatrical. He's not really much of a pimp anymore. I don't know. I don't think he do the pimp stuff. He don't seem like as much of a pimp. Maybe he still do bring the girls, but either way it go. Uh, yeah, man, he was always theatrical, so at least he made it a little funny for me. But this is how the
Yeah,
hell show
Monty,
how
you know he ain't pulling no girls. He used to have the girls walking out all the time with him. Where are they now? None.
I said he ain't much of one anymore. That's what I said. I said he's not much of one. He's washed up. That's my point. He's washed up. Anyway, the point is, Shota Umino having an uphill battle to try to have a banger at this point because you gave him Chase on and you gave him Yujiro. Like I said, come on, y'all. But anyway, at least that almost guaranteed him the next round because Yujiro ain't beat no damn body. It was a little fun.
I still don't know why he wanted to play catch for him. No, I just there is no. Okay, maybe that's something they did back in the day. New Japan Cup. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Rhea Oiwa. He defeated his TMDK teammate in 28 minutes. I mean, again, this is the third time Zack has eliminated Oiwa in the cup. Zack told Roy to keep his chin up. I mean, Gina, again, we spoke about Oiwa trying to beat his, mentor in Zack. And another crazy fact, and I don't know why I keep giving you these, but this was Zack's first singles match in New Japan this year.
Which is shocking because you feel like you see him a lot. But yeah, okay, fair. If that
Must be
was his
tag
first
matches,
match.
yeah. Lots of
Yeah,
tag
I mean, he
matches.
got the win, so fair play to him, but again, a bit gutting for Yuya, who does feel like he's been, on the up at this point. So, and again, let alone to his teammate. But I think that makes it even better, at least you can have that show of respect after.
Yeah, without a doubt. Night 9, quarterfinals, March 15th. United Empire, Akira Greater Khan, Hanari, Jake Lee, and Jacob Oscar Young defeated Unbound Co., which is Drilla Gado, Oscar Utsuji, and Yuta Rice. United Empire, Callum Newman Zane J defeated Gotu and Matsumoto. TMDK, Oiwa Sabre defeated Umino and Honma. And New Japan Cup 2026 quarterfinal, Oleg Bolton defeated Ren Narita. There was so much House of Torture interference, but they are not the same, I guess, without Evil. Oleg broke through and banished the House of Torture and its leader out of the New Japan Cup with a kamikaze. Again, this was, I mean, Jaxie, when we talk about House of Torture, they're out of the cup now. Bolton managed to get rid of them, but I mean, it took all of Oleg to get it done,
Yeah, this match was chaos, to be honest, because this was, if you think about it, this was how desperate the House of Torture were to kind of keep at least one person from the group within the New Japan Cup. And it took everything from Bolton Oleg to actually get this win and get over on them. But they tried it. They tried it hard, you know? So this was a good match, and this really showcased like the determination of Bolton Oleg, and I think that it just only showcases, that they've got a real talent there, and they should continue to utilize their strength the way they have so far.
Yeah, about that. The other quarterfinal, Yuri Uemura defeated Shingo Takagi. I mean, this was quality. Yuri picked up a huge victory. Shingo, he said he's bridging the gap with the new generation. What I liked about Uemura, he said he's not surpassed Shingo, but now he's on his level, and very emotional he was. And I think, Monty, this was the best match so far because, again, it told that story, didn't it? Uemura wanted to be on Shingo's level, and he did just for that night.
Yeah, man, it was a technical, slow burn, physical masterpiece, man. It was just, and to be fair, it was two main events in them row to me that I was like, you know what, this is what I watch it for. This left a good taste in my mouth because, I'm willing to argue with you about ZSJ and well, because that felt like my match of the tournament at that point. But you could definitely make an argument that this one was right there, or if not better. So I like you said, Shingo is like a bar in a sense. I don't know if he might be actually the last because we lost so many like world champion caliber people, like maybe people who we know have won the belt before, but people who like if they decided today, you know what, let's just put the belt on Shingo, nobody would bat an eye. Shingo is that type of guy. He's like that bar in New Japan. If you can best a game Shingo is on top of his game, and in a great fight like this, the sky's the limit. And and I love, like you said, the comments after was great with you were more kind of acknowledging that he's on that level. But yeah, man, how much I like this match. This is the, like I said, the world title, bringing the version 4 of the belt back, restored that feeling. Matches like this and the ZSJ versus Orwell match, that kind of restored that late 2010s feeling for me, because these two matches were what the cup is all about, to be honest. Like stuff like this. So yeah, and it's cool to see both what those matches both have in common is that we got mainstays, veteran, great talent, top level world champion talent fighting younger guys. And although the older guy lost this one versus Zach winning his, they both accomplished the same goal, in my opinion, of really elevating the younger talents and making them both look good, whether they lost or won. So this is really good stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. Night 10 quarterfinals, March 17th. House of Torture, which was Kanemaru, Chase Owens, and Takahashi defeated Yasuda, Kojima, and Taichi. House of Torture, Dick Togo, Don Farley, Ren Narita defeated Masamoto, Yano, and Aaron Wolf. Knockout Brothers defeated TMDK, which was Hartley Jackson and Rhea Oiwa. And United Empire, Jacob Austin Young, Akira, Great Khan Hanari, and Jake Lee defeated Gado, Taiji Shimori, Driller, Shingo, and Yota Tsuji. And also, let's not forget Yoshihashi Inoda both defeating Honma and Uemura. In the New Japan Cup quarterfinal matchup, Callum Newman defeated Hiroki Goto. I mean, even though Callum is my pick, I thought Goto had him. The former world champion found out that the Prince Low will do anything for the crown, and a low blow got him on his way. Now, I mean, Gina, this was a little bit of a surprise. Like I said, not maybe Newman won, but again, the way he won against Goto, it just, I think it's told us, no, this is a time for like the newer guys to come through now.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, there were so many near misses that you thought Goto was going to get this win. Um, and it's just crazy to see that Callum Newman got him with that low blow as well. But it does feel like it's paving the way for all these newer, younger talents to come on up and come on through, just like we've been saying about Bolton Oleg and Oscar and Yuto Ice. Like Callum Newman is definitely one of them that I feel is being pushed in or having the way paved for him with these wins against like Goto and stuff. So it's working a lot for Callum, that's for sure. But it's still sad to see because Goto definitely looked like he had him in some moments of the match.
Yeah, I just hope it's not another 20 years until he wins the world title again. Do you know what I mean? But again, like we said, it is about the newer generation. And in the other quarterfinal matchup, Shota Umino defeated Zack Sabre Jr. And Jackson, let's not forget, this was the Wrestle Kingdom main event 2 years ago. But I think the problem is Umino still can't connect with the crowd in a way that maybe Yuya can. I mean, this was a very good matchup, but again, it just seems like they're saying with
Hmm.
Umino and the crowd, that's just, I don't know.
Well, I don't know because I want to even ask Monty whether or not Shota Umno has some of the worst luck possible. Because whether or not it's like having like sort of the crowd behind him and then just always falling short at that moment to sort of reach the goal and make that monumental step. Is then if it's not that, it's then just him picking up sort of a slight win here, but not having as much momentum behind his back. So it's just a little bit of a weird one with Showtime. I feel like he's a little bit cursed, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it might be something to that. I mean, I honestly think he just got like, yeah, I don't know if it's a curse, but I think it's like the stink of the way his initial run went, and like how the fans felt he was forced on upon them maybe before he was ever ready. And I think now that the work, because to me as a wrestler, I don't really give a shit about what the people. I don't. I don't really care. That obviously I don't care what the people like because House of Torture
Fuck the,
is my clique, right?
fuck the
But
people.
anyway, right. Obviously I don't care about what they think. But still, my point is, as a worker though, as wrestler, I don't understand why they don't connect. And the reason why I say this is because he does everything that all the people that they like do, and he does it just as good, if not better, in the ring. So like, as far as wrestling, you can't tell me you don't like Shota Umino because you think he can't wrestle. If you don't like him because of some other reason, or you think he's bland, you don't connect to the character or whatever, then that is what it is. And like I said, that can be fixed in given time. And I think it will. I think in the long run, Shota Umino will benefit from all of this he going through. Because again, much like a guy he looked up to in Naito, Naito was one of the best workers, very athletic, could do anything in the ring. And people didn't like him. They thought he was bland. They wanted Tanahashi. They wanted Okada back in the spot. They didn't want Naito there. And Naito left, went to Mexico, and came back with a different attitude, and that changed everything. Now, again, I know Shota has told us his attitude has changed, but really, if you look at his antics, the only thing he's really done is only become more physical as a wrestler. He hasn't really changed the personality. He's still respectful. He's still the same guy. So I'm not saying he needs to change his personality. I'm just saying that I think he's going to be one of those guys that go on a similar journey to like what I meant with Naito. He's probably going to have to find his true self instead of still, because he's right now he still kind of has whatever it is that he had when he debuted that's blocking a connection. I love Shota Umino, especially his wrestling, but I do understand like what you mean, James. Like as far as like at the end of the day, no matter what he does, the people don't want him to be
Mm,
in these spots. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, I don't see how you don't I don't see how you can look at him wrestle and be like he don't deserve it. That's my problem.
No, I just don't understand because he was the one, especially when started getting into it and he came along, with the Moxie stuff as well. I was like, oh, he's the dude that's standing out to me. And it seems now, either by watching the product or whatever's happened in this past couple of years, like Suji's overtaken him, even Yuta Rice now, for me, it's like, yeah, that dude's the main event talent. Numino, I'm just not sure, but we'll see how he does in the New Japan Cup. We've got the semis, night 11, the 20th of March. House of Torture, which is Chase Owens, Takahashi defeated Taguchi, and Nakahara. Goto and Matsumura defeated Team 100, which was Kojima and Tai Chi, with, of course, Yasuda as well. El Desperado, Masawato, and Yo defeated House of Torture. United Empire defeated Unbound Co. And Jake Lee, his makeup. I don't know if anybody's noticed Jake Lee's makeup, and Gina, I don't know, but he started as like a little black mark, and then he's got the lips, and then it's the eyes. Do you know? Is he slowly turning to the Joker? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I definitely think he is. I did notice that his makeup is growing each time he's coming out, and I was like, okay, so this is alluding to maybe his character is going to unleash something when the makeup is full. I don't know. I mean, it seems weird, and like I said, he seems like a weirdo. I liked him at first. He started just becoming more and more creepy, and I'm like, okay, where are we going with you? It's interesting
Uh,
though, interesting concept. But I think I liked my sister's comparison to Art the Clown from the
yeah.
Terrifier because the black and white. I think it's kind of fitting.
House of Torture defeated Aaron Wolf, Honma, and Toriano. TMDK defeated Unbound Coach as Gedo, Oscar, Urice, and Suji. Vegeta. This is one of my favorite bits. Vegeta had a Suji sized handprint on him after the match. He chopped Yota, but the champion just walked away. And Monty, this is kind of again the junior trying to step up to the heavyweight, and you could see on his chest like the Suji handprint, but he weren't going to back down, was he?
Yeah, it's a nice callback too to like the again kind of like the Hiromu and his insistence on trying to have a rivalry with Okada for years, and Okada kind of shrugged him off similarly for years, like that. And it just reminded me when you brought it up, it just reminded me of like how I got robbed of that anniversary match. I think because of an injury, like it was supposed to be Hiromu versus Okada in like a anniversary match, and they never really got a chance to do it like they wanted to. But again, just shit happens. But yeah, who knows? Like you said, with a junior heavyweight, again, like trying to say, show that he can, hang with a guy like Suji, and the heavyweights kind of always just kind of shrug that off. But it's always one of those juniors who really want, and who knows? Maybe he can do Osprey because Osprey was similar to that too. But Osprey just kind of I don't know what the hell happened to him. He blew up after like a one summer. He came back legit a heavyweight. He was like, yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead. You can go be a heavyweight now.
We'll see what happens. You might do that. So New Japan Cup semi-final, Yuri Uemura defeated Oleg Bolton. I mean, I really like both guys. It's nice to see a nice monster, as we talk about, who has the potential to do that. Yuya is probably the closest to Tanahashi in my eyes, but he needs to be the first Uemura. I do like the fact he took the high fly flow, and Jaxie, he's winning with it, you know? Because there's nothing worse than taking like a move and not winning with it. He was given Tanahashi's high fly flow, and that's what Uemura used to book his place in the finals.
You know what? I actually liked that he was able to win that match with that move going into the finals because it really does solidify that he was handed that move and he's now adopted it. So I
Mm.
wasn't mad at this at all. And if anything, this just made you look stronger going into the finals.
Yeah, I think without a doubt. And the other New Japan Cup semi-final, Callum Newman defeated Shota Umino. I mean, he didn't hold back on the strike. Shota had a bloody nose and bled more going through two tables at ringside, but couldn't put him down. A blow, couldn't put Umino down. But finally, the Prince's curse got the Prince in the final. Um, I mean, Gina, again, this is interesting because I'll talk about it. I mean, Callum did tell Shoto he could join the United Empire before he told him to fuck off, and then he told the crowd to shut up before Yuya faced off with him. Shoto, of course, lost to Finley in the final last year, but this was all about the young guns, really, wasn't it? You know, Newman was 23, Umino's 28, Ura's 41, and incredibly, Bolton is the oldest at 33, but he's wrestling the shortest amount of time. And how many times have we moaned about how old like the WWE scene is, and New Japan are putting the new guys forward, Gina?
I mean, this is how you do it. This is what WWE should be doing. Like, again, we were even just talking about Callum winning over Hiroki Goto. That for me is a huge win, like to get for Callum behind his belt. And you don't seem to see that. You know, you seem to see loads of people still losing to the likes of Rey Mysterio or Randy Orton and big names like that to still put the bigger guys over who are in their, late or early 50s or late and early 40s. Again, New Japan have decided, no, we got this not young new lot. Let's kind of push them a little bit and just see what they will do with it. I think it's working for them. Callum's definitely benefiting from this.
Yeah, without a doubt. So we move on to the final, and there was 3,007 people in attendance for the New Japan Cup final taking place at the City Hall Plaza in the Nagaoka. We had the New Japan World Television Championship Open Challenge. Takeshita defeated Yujiro Takahashi. Takeshita wasn't in the cup as the match with Mox was around the same time, but Takeshita did call out Umino for a match to avenge his G1 loss to him last year. And Monty, is it that important? Or, I mean, again, I know losing in a G1 is never good, even though Takeshita did win it, but it makes sense to set up a match rather than it just being like, I don't like you, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. To be honest, this wrestling, man, you don't need a good reason to fight somebody. So it's cool. It's always cool to me whenever they provide some reason. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
at the end of the day, I'll take it, even if it is like a thin reason at best.
Yeah, without a doubt. We had Yasuda, El Desperado, and Taichi defeating Matsumoto Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. House of Torture, which was Kanemaru Show and Doki, defeating Taguchi, Mastawato, and Yo. Yo is next in line to challenge Doki for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. United Empire, Greater Khan, and Hanari defeated Honma and Shota Umino. Hanari beat the shit out of poor Honma, you know? This is the thing. You know, Jax, people don't talk about it, all these legends, and someone like Honma, who I don't know if you've heard him, but you know, sounds pretty rough like that. And Hanari just beat the shit out of him. You know, is that any way to treat a legend?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at this point, I don't think Hinari cares about whether or not age or health has anything to do with it. If you're in the ring with him, he just sees red. He's like a bull, and he just
Yeah.
sees red and he just goes for it. And that's how I saw it when he demolished Honma like that. He just didn't care who it was. That was his opponent in the ring. He saw red. He went for it.
Umino stared at Takeshita, who's on commentary. We got United Empire, Jacob Young, Akira, and Jake Lee defeated Tajish Mori, Driller Maloney, and Shingo. House of Torture with Dick Togo, Don Farley, Renderita defeated Toriano, Aaron Wolf, and Oleg Bolton. And then TMDK, Fujita, Hartley Jackson, Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Unbound Company, which was Nagai, Oscar, Yuta Rice, and Yota Tsuji. Oiwa agreed when Yuta asked him if he hated him. He said the feeling was mutual and they agreed to lay it on the line for the tag team titles. Ice wanted one-on-one, but doesn't mind fighting Zack. And Gene, as we talked about, Yuta is the one to watch. He wanted a bit of Oiwa. You know, he's like, give me a bit of you. And he's like, yeah, I will if I team with Zack. And it's like, come on, mate. Are you scared?
It did seem like he was hiding behind Zach at that point, didn't it? It was like, is he a bit intimidated that he's like, Zach, please tag with me.
Yeah.
Help me out here. I'm a bit scared. I think I might have bit off a bit more than I can chew.
I don't want to stay hyped. I put titles online, it'd be fine. And then the New Japan Cup 2026 final was Callum Newman defeating I put Yota Tsuji here, but it wasn't Yota Tsuji, was it? It was Yura
It was
Uemura.
you, yeah.
Yeah, this was a slow burner. It felt like either man could win, and it built to a wonderful series of arm drags and drop kicks with the crowd chanting for Yura. The chair was slid into the ring by Zane J, and a low blow was delivered behind Red Shoe's back. Yura wouldn't fade low. The closing sequence was fantastic. A cavalcade of kickouts while the crowd went wild. The crowd truly believed Yura had won it with the high fly flow, but Newman survived, and somehow the Prince took the crown. And with this, Newman is the youngest ever winner of the New Japan Cup. And I think Tanahashi passing Newman a trophy was apt. Yuya looked on with a broken heart. But what the fuck did Newman tell us? He said his unit is his empire and it is his company. He is now the ace. And Suji looked on, smiling, and said he's got him next. Monty, what were your thoughts then on the final of the New Japan Cup? It was fantastic, especially that closing sequence.
Yeah, man. Last 10 minutes was some classic New Japan Cup. That nail biting wrestling. When Uemura kicked out of that kind of like bloody cross low key 1916, DDT type of impaler DDT he did. Newman does. I was genuinely shocked because nobody really was kicking out of that up to that point, and it just went to an insane pace after that, as if that wasn't already like 20 minutes into the match. And to be fair, like I just think overall what this match symbolizes meant more to me, or and what it symbolized for the main event scene of New Japan. I think Newman been calling himself the Prince, and now I think you can't really argue it. Like he truly looks like and seems to be the Prince. And I think the best thing about this, and the reason why I think this was great, is because he no longer reminds me of Osprey. He's just at the beginning of this term, I wasn't really that impressed with some of the wins. I was just like, okay, I see what they're telling the story here. But like those last few matches, him and Shota and this one really showed that, where he is as a wrestler and how he's just more vicious than Osprey. Like Osprey can be vicious, but we know he likes to put on a show. He's a lot more flash. But Callum can be athletic, but he is way more physical. He's way more vicious. He hits a lot harder to me than what Osprey seems to do or did when he was in Japan. And while I still believe, like you mentioned earlier, he's the closest the new generation has to Tanahashi, and Uemura, in my opinion, will be the ace. I don't care what Newman says. Uemura is probably going to be the ace of New Japan. Like I think, and of course he's gonna have to be himself. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying Uemura got to
Mm.
be have his own legacy, but he just seems like that quintessential babyface guy that's gonna run this company in the future. And I know we got a lot of guys who me and you kind of highlighted, Jane, who could take the crown. But what I like about him is that I can see different roles to where maybe in a few years or maybe sooner than that, it could be like 2016 was, where you had a Omega, you had a Okada, you still had Tanahashi hitting on all cylinders, and you had Naito. You had basically five top guys in the company or guys who could potentially be on top and at all times. And I think they kind of laid the groundwork with this with a lot of the people who were in the last few rounds of this tournament. So yeah, man. I came away with an appreciation for Newman, and I think that means this did a good job. I think that means overall, if you can make a new star like that or come away with a new opinion of the winner of the entire tournament, then that shows me that the tournament did its job.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. And another thing I really liked is obviously Umino and Uemura been teaming up, and they could have easily put them in the semi-finals, of the New Japan Cup here or have it in a match in the quarterfinals, but they're saving that, So again, I wouldn't even mind Umino maybe losing his shit over Yuri Uemura and then having that kind of personality, to get through. But like I said, there were so many people there. We're going to talk about it as well. Backstage comments, Tai Chi and Despy say they are old, but will keep having fun. It was Tai Chi's birthday the day before, and he was hungover. Yoshihashi is impressed. Yoshihashi was so impressed Tai Chi. Oh, did he do stream?
Yes, he was drunk, very drunk. Tai Chi streamed before this show. So, yeah, he was drunk.
Yeah, Yoshihashi is impressed Tai Chi can drink so much and still wrestle, which, I mean, Jaxie, you got to be a fan of that. He can drink as much as he wants and still perform.
Hey, if we can all do that at that age, then I'll be quite satisfied with that.
Exactly. Yo sat on Taguchi and Doki, that his heart is racing. Shota is tired of being gloomy. He's not the same dopey Umino. Oh, come on. We've heard you fucking say this already. He told Takeshita anyway. Hinari trying to deal with a new era. He said only injuries have stopped him. Shingo called Jake Lee Austin Powers, which I don't know. I suppose. Akira showed a lot of passion, want to prove to Ishimori he's a top 2 junior. Aaron Wolf spoke about the new Spider-Man film trailer, then tried to shoot webs. Gina, it's almost like I'm trying to make this up. You know what I mean? But he did. He spoke about Spider-Man and said with great power comes great responsibility.
It does feel really random. It does feel really random, doesn't it? Like you've got New Japan with Aaron Wolf and then Marvel. Okay, sure.
Suji said he would do with whoever wins the cup. Oscar found it hilarious. Oiwa couldn't work a mic. We should say that when Oiwa went to talk previously in the night, the microphone wasn't going to work. Zach said he's going to kick that cunt Oscar so hard he'll be speaking fucking Lithuanian. Good old Zach. Fujita doesn't understand why Suji was saying about him having no manners, and Yuya will never give up with Newman celebrated with beer. And the Empire said the IWGP World title is next. It is truly a start of a new era, and we're going to leave it there. But I just want to talk. I mean, Jackson, I come to you first. Is any match? I mean, I know we've talked about a lot here, but is any match in New Japan Cup that kind of stood out to you? Because I know we normally do like match and MVP, but if you got a match, or who's your MVP of the New Japan Cup?
Oh. Okay, 1 second. I'd probably say, if I'm going to say like someone who stood out throughout the World Cup, I'm gonna have to give it to Bolton Oleg. I think he showed like real strength throughout the whole New Japan Cup. And I only think that he's gonna go far at some point. Match of the night. I don't think I'll have to come back to you on that and actually think about it, because there were so many matches that I had to catch up with that it feels like I've not really had a chance to process it, and it all feels like it's merged into one. So one's not standing out in particular for me. I guess maybe like both the finals matches. I feel like you put up a really good show in the final few matches of his. So maybe you could give a shout out to those two for match of the night.
Well, I would agree. I think from the second round onwards, the New Japan Cup was just excellent all round. Anyway, Gina, I mean, is there a match that stands out, and who's your MVP?
That one is a really difficult one. Again, a shout out to Bolton because he stood out. But I'd also like to say like Yuto, Ice, and Oscar stood out a lot, even though they weren't in the singles line. I really enjoyed a lot of their matches. One match I do think sticks out to me is Callum Newman and Hiroki Goto. I think that match was really good, and I think it was quite defining for Callum Newman's career. So I'd maybe go with that. I think that's all I got at the moment. But shout out to Callum Newman for making it to the end as well. And can I just say, poor Yuya's face at the end. He looked devastated and broken.
Yeah, you almost wanted him to be sitting there with a WrestleMania sign behind him. Like that is what it is. Hopefully,
He wanted to do the point.
Yeah, we'll just hope next year will be fine, mate. But who knows when it comes to New Japan? Like I said, with injuries and stuff like that. Monty, what was your match for the New Japan Cup, and who's your MVP?
Uh, I mean, I don't know how you don't go with either the last match or either the cup final or, in my opinion, Yuri Uemura versus Shingo. I think that was Uemura and Shingo. But if not, like I said, then you got Zach and Oiwa, and then of course, like I said, Shota Umino and Newman was also incredible to me. So you can pick either one out of that, to be honest. But so I just stick with the cup. I just stick with the cup final and say
Yeah.
Newman and you more. You more is my MVP. Although of course Newman deserves credit. I just think the beginning of Newman's tournament wasn't as impressive as the way he finished it off. Like at first, I thought he was doing a little bit too much of just telling the story and not giving me the match. But by the time he got to that Shota Umino match, I was like, okay, now you're giving me great matches and you're doing the character development
Yeah,
of
I
like
agree. I
being a
agree.
heel, you know. So, but you more pretty much everything he did from his first match on to the final, he was impressive. And again, like I said, I think it's almost a given that he will be on top of New Japan before it's too late.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I think the New Japan Cup this year was great. MVP was Newman for me in the match with Shingo versus Yuri Uemura. But like I said, you could have picked any of the quarterfinals, any of the semis, and the final itself. Really, really good. Predictions. We did do predictions. Like I said, I went Newman. Monty went Uemura, Regina, and Jax went Driller. So it means the prediction league. This is after Chamber Revolution, Vengeance Day, but before Stand and Deliver, Dynasty, and WrestleMania. I'm glad we haven't got too many events, everybody. The bonus league at this moment in time, Jaxie's on 5, Gina's on 8, Monty on 9. I am on 12. And so, like I said, that is it. Coming up on the next New Japan pod, because obviously the G1 will start July, August time. So we'll do a little catch up before that, and that will have Sakura Genesis, where it will be Newman versus Suji, Dontaku, and then Dominion. Like I said, all to come for the G1, and I'll cover the best of Super Juniors. Monty, all I've got to do is ask you for your thoughts on New Japan for this catch up that we have done.
Uh, Overall, I say they building something. I'm intrigued with Newman and his whole arc, more so just like than what not only him becoming the cup winner, but just like his arc in general as a character. Uh, the with the improvement of Oleg, the improvement of Shota Umino, and the way you more again is like I said ascending. I think that bodes well for like possibly the top of the card in the future. And then you still got mainstays. You still got Ishii and Tai Chi. You got Goto. You got Zach. You know what I mean? You got Yoshihashi. You got people like that who can stabilize things and still bring that familiarity. But you also got, new hopefuls, and you got, like we said, with the Knockout Brothers, and just and across different divisions. Even with Doki, like something as simple as Del Desperado saying he won't take it easy on his little brother because like like they won't they're related. That storyline is interesting to me because even Desperado was shocked at the route that Doki took. So they cooking up a lot of cool story stuff, and the wrestling is always top notch. Even at New Japan's worst, they're gonna give you some of the best wrestling in the world. So I say New Japan's in a good place. The tournament as a whole wasn't the greatest to me, like especially the beginning. But like you said, once it ramped up in those last few main events, man, it really kind of left me optimistic with okay, we seem to be building something and in a good place. So I hope they just continue the momentum and that's the only thing I can really can ask for is try to be more consistent and slowly but surely build that roster that I know they can because they have a little potential even though we lost a lot of big names too.
Yeah, yeah. But I think, like I said, we started off with losing talent, and now I think the future looks a bit brighter. And even we could say during the New Japan Cup, you can still see the holes, as we talk about with Don Farley and people like Chase Owens competing in the tournament. But I think that will change, like I said, in a year's time. We didn't have the Knockout Brothers until, what was it, October, November. And look at the impact that they've had in 6 months. So again, it just shows that the future is bright for New Japan. That is it for today. Don't forget, across all social media, X at the WNR podcast. I'm at the WNR pod James. You can find the entire WNR team on the banner. Jaxie, where can people find and follow you?
You can find me on X at Jaxie Scarlett.
And Monty?
At Mine the Monty Pod, at House of Torture. You already know. And I'm very evil, like Danhausen. So I will curse you all.
And Gina?
You can find me on X and Twitch at Purple Pain.
Yeah, the Dublin also on Facebook and Instagram. Send us an email at dublinpodcast at gmail.com and YouTube, the Dublin Podcast, where we are celebrating nearly 11 years of the Dublin Hour with shorts, clips from any event we go to. And I've started my rise. Yes, I've created me as a wrestler, and it is going as well as can be expected. But you can check that out on YouTube. And the podcast is live on YouTube, also on SoundCloud, on your phone, also Spotify and iTunes. We can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So that is it. Our next episode is the WrestleMania live pre-show next Saturday. Who's ready, guys? Woo! Okay, just me then, I guess.
Yeah, it's just you. Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun build to WrestleMania. Until then, I've been James Bones, and I was joined by the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. Thanks for joining me, Jax.
It's been fun. I'm glad to be back, and not really looking forward to the next one, but hey, here we go.
It was like you were never away, you know that. And, and of course, the mind of Monty. I think we're in a better place now with New Japan. A little bit of a better place.
I hope Jake Lee get released mysteriously.
And of course, the genius of Gina. Thanks for joining me, Gina.
Yeah, thanks for everything, guys. It's been a fun New Japan catch up.
It has been. Well, that is it. Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.